I was actually thinking about this in bed last night because I played Valheim for like hours during the stage where I was trying to figure stuff out, and then I read Dance of Dragons for a little while. Then I was lying in bed being like, I could build a statue with the head, like the skull head with the Crown of Swords guy, the trophy, and make a statue with that guy as a head and like a bonfire in his body, striding over the bestriding the way that the ship comes in over the base. Right. Got coal over here. This is all going. Anything I need to repair or anything? Clank, 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 clank. Okay. So where are we at here? And then the other question was whether I have the wall that goes across this way be one straight line wall that goes all the way out and then it's there, or do I do one like this and one like that, or two diagonals? We'll have to see. So I'm gonna start at the other side. Is there anything else I'm forgetting that I need to do or want to check those garden crops, see how they're doing? All these turnips, look at me. So productive when you do your farm regularly. Wealth begets wealth. Do I go to full turnips now that I have this many carrots? Might as well, right? The next step. Those all my turnips? Alright. Wealth multiplies. Alright, how many carrot seeds do I have left? Just 9 carrots. Alright, those go to the piggies. These guys are escaping yet, Curly? Hey, buddy. Right. Okay, is there anything else I'm meaning to do that's critical for now? Really? So I guess I just start... What do I need for the stonecutters thing? 2 iron. Got it. And 2 iron. And then just a ton of stone. It's 2 iron, yes. Lovely. Jam all this stuff in here. Then go grab some stonies. Okay, how many is that? How many of these? How much are these each? 100, so 2. So I'm missing 18, so not. Yeah. So I've got all my stuff. And I prefer this ridge as the one to be kind of like the starter upper. Let's get these dandelions out of here, yeah? Yeah. So why is this being difficult? Okay, let's try that. So, I want this to be at the line. Let's just see. Just spitballing. That's like pretty high. So I gotta drop this down a little bit. How's that look? Still a bit higher than I'd like, so I'll drop that down another one. Yeah, that's fine. The same height as the previous one. Okay, trying to clear this down over time. If I do this, I get some rock out of it maybe, but then it's too low, I think. $6 stone per. No joke. I was watching some like YouTube short about, I don't know, the YouTube short has really hit my algorithm for like a lot of those like kind of bro comics, like the Theo Vons and Bobby Lees and Andrew Santino's, etc. And it was this clip of Mike DiStefano or something. And then no, it was Mark Norman talking about how he texts with Jerry Seinfeld all the time. And then DiStefano, who's like more of like a dummy, was like, oh man, he like left me on red. I haven't like actually, he's like, is this Jerry's number? Mark's like, yeah. But the more I watch Mark Norman, the more I realize that like, he is like right up Seinfeld's alley. Like, they're very similar. Like Mark Norman's like a little more like blue than Seinfeld is, but it's like a different era, you know what I mean? But like he's still the same kind of like logic joke guy. He's like kind of weird. He's like kind of borderline Jewish. Yeah, I'm working on it. First level of the, yeah, it's starting now. I'm at my real job, Valheim. I have a nice 1-2 of games right now, man. Honestly, I'm having fun with both those games. I saw the place. Hit me with it. Mark Norman is a bit where he's like, I was dating a Jewish girl, but her dad said he wanted her to date a Jewish girl. He's like, come on, I got curly hair, I live in New York, I'm circumcised. Like, how bad is it? He's like, no, it has to be a Jewish girl. City Skylines I like. I would say I never play it for like too long, but I like it when I play it. It's got a sick vibe to it. Sometimes I feel like when I play it, I'm like wasting all this time in like sewers and like fucking industry and stuff, and it's just not that fun. That's the part of it that I always kind of like lose my interest in. I don't know if you feel the same way. Okay, this is not, now this has to go. I don't know. I don't have... the game has like a million DLCs. Like, I bought it a long time ago. So, I bought it like probably at least 3 or 4 years ago. So, I doubt I have all the DLCs. I might just have the base game. I used to pirate a lot more games than I do now. So, maybe I played the DLCs when I like just ripped it. But yeah, there's a lot. Did you buy a lot of the DLCs or just buy the base game? That last boss I was fighting in Dark Souls was crazy. It wasn't even a boss. You just had to like survive the assault as you hit 3 different secret spots, and one hit each of those 3 secret spots, and that was the boss. It was so crazy. Up there. I have the game. I got Mass Transit. I got the game yesterday. Mass Transit sounds like a cool one to get if you're gonna get it. Good idea. Good start. Something else I was messing with yesterday is I realized that I could probably make an arch here and let this river go through, and then extend this river all the way through to like the other side of the base. So I could have like a little creek going through the whole castle, because it would connect like eventually over to that far side where the river is again. That'd be so cool. The wall looks way too high, but it's my outer wall. I don't know. Alright, this is getting finicky. Okay, put one more there. Stonecutters on the way? Okay. Hi, it sounds like you need a game recently. Hope City Skyline is the one for you. Sounds like you're looking for new inspiration. What did that even do? Ooh, maybe get on top of the wall and do raised ground up there? Alright. What I think destroys my stonecutter base at night. When I look at that and how ridiculous that looks, I'm kind of getting a little bit worried. But I guess maybe I'll just raise a lot of this. Maybe I just like chose too high of a point. I'll look at it in the morning. I might just start that whole thing much lower because it looks kind of like stupidly high currently. I like it very fun so far. I want to play Dark Souls 1 and 2 now because of you, and I play Valheim more, but you got 2 boards solo? Did you finish Mistlands? What are your other buddies doing lately? Like, what games are they playing? Okay, here's the issue. Is that this is the maximum height I want. But now I'm having it as like my minimum height. I'm kind of losing the plot here a little bit. What do I do? Maybe I take it from that same point and just dig down and make it like a triple height stone wall from this same point. Because the earth wall is a little bit ghetto. Doing it the opposite way doesn't make sense. No, only at mountains, but if the game can have multiplayer, I get bored fast because I'm always solo. If the game can have multiplayer, I get bored fast because I'm always solo. If the game can have multiplayer, I get bored fast because I'm also always solo. I guess it's kind of like, it feels like a different game to play multiplayer versus solo. Yeah, it's totally true. Like, playing this time by myself has been definitely different than playing the game in a group. It's like more efficient in some ways, but like, yeah, it for sure has a different feel to it. Definitely more fun that way, I agree. Depends on like the personality type too, I think a little bit. Like one of the reasons I like doing a game like this solo is like so I get to have my own ideas in it as opposed to like being more of a collaborator. I think that's more like maybe the way I look at it. Okay, this is all a little bit of a mess in terms of what I'm doing here. Do you have like Do you have friends who are playing other things currently that you'd be interested in playing? So this looks like it's going to be about a 2 height wall. This will be fine, I'm sure. So I don't need to put more up here yet. This has helped me recoup some of the stone at least, I'll give it that. This could be really time consuming the way I did this. Oh well, I was just trying to visualize everything else that should be doing. Okay, where's the stone cutter? Got it. Okay. Fit one more before I get a range. Okay, we'll grab these things. Okay, so using all these raised earth to visualize stuff, I hope I can recoup a lot of the stone. Because I just basically have been... The wall go to? There. Because I basically just like wasted all that time just visualizing stuff. Oh well, whatever. Ugh. It's like I'm swimming. What the fuck? Oh, so high up. This looks so egregious now. All these earthen walls are gonna have to go. A full day of visualization is basically like a blueprint on the ground. Go. Moving this out a little bit. Oh man. So much to do. I'm now like the slave labor. Clearing out the railroad tracks before the railroad comes in. The indentured servants. Oh no, don't do that. That's the level you want. Then even that out. Push that forward. Build more stone walls. push this forward. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting, because what I felt like is a low level is now actually quite a high level. So, what do I think about this? So I think what I have now is what I thought was the low level. Wow. Okay, it's gonna be pretty high stone. It's gonna be pretty high wall then, I guess. Okay, well, fuck it. Going. How do I do this? Something wrong with the Risen Earth wall. It's just gonna be like imprecise. And it's more classy if it's made of all stone. What do I do? Gotta get more stamina food for one. Hey fellas, did you eat those carrots already? Looks like you did. I not have Queen's Jam? Two? I'm glad that it takes more of one than the other. Alright, I'm a little bit... I really don't got anyone to consistently play games with. This is because you're... Yeah. Well, I guess that's like... I know what you mean, like... I don't have... Not everyone gets like a lot of friends who like share the same interests, for sure. You might just have to have like different kind of groups of friends, you know what I mean? Or like people you play games with and people you like chill with. I have like, I'd say like, I have pretty few of my like real life friends are people who, pretty few of my real life friends who I've known like since school, etc. are like into playing things like consistently. I've got a couple, and I have a couple of friends I made from playing League of Legends, etc. who I'm like real life friends with now for sure. But it's definitely hard. Okay, so how the fuck am I gonna do that? I'm having trouble analyzing what to do. Maybe I just have to break down all of this earthen wall? And I never needed to make it this tall. I only made it this tall so I could draw a clean line with it. But the thing is, it has to go in this angle. Yeah, it looks like... Do you think that you're more into the games you're playing than like the idea of making friends in them? Do you think that's like a fair thing to say? Oops. Because if you were doing it to have buddies to play with, then you would probably stick with like the people that you already keep playing with, right? I don't know how to answer that question for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I ask myself whether I'm like more doing it to like. Most of the time, I play games because I want to do that, and then like I have to find ways to like. Even when I played like really multiplayer games like League, I felt like there's a lot of people who are there to like hang out with their buddies, and I kind of wanted to just be left alone to play games. And so like even like multiplayer games, like, hey, you want to play? I'm like, I just want to listen to music and like not talk to anybody. Sometimes that was the way it was. And that's the funny thing about like streaming, is that it's social to some degree, but at the same time it's to like help justify me doing things I already wanted to do, and like kind of make some structure out of it. I think somewhat like, I meet this guy in a game, he's chill, we get lots of the same questions, but he doesn't want to play in other games except for that one. But I decided to play that one for a while. I have someone to play with, I get burned out. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you mostly like playing multiplayer games or single player games? I'm actually like generally jealous of like, I have friends who have like a group of dudes they're friends with since like high school, who are like just always on Discord together, playing like basically the same kind of games. And like if one of them's like offline, like watching a movie with their girlfriend or something, he'll like see that everyone's online. He's like, fuck, I'm missing so much fun. I think that's so funny. But I'm pretty jealous of them because no matter what they play, they're like basically all playing it. And it's kind of hard for some of them because some of them like go harder than others. It's hard, man. Like, a lot of these activities are like kind of like solo, and like it's not realistic to think of, unless people mostly just want to play. If people mostly want to hang out with each other, then it doesn't matter what thing they'll play. They just want to do it as the thing they do while they hang out. But then like some people, and I'm like that with some of my friends for sure. Like some of my friends will be like, "What? Yeah, sure. What are we playing?" And then, but they mostly want to like chill and talk about like Saturday Night Live and like movies and like just fun shit. Whereas I'm like kind of like more into like the obsessive part of the game. So I guess the question is like whether you want to like spend time with people more or whether you want to like play certain games more. And that balance is really hard. Like for sure different for different people. I guess you'll like figure out where you stand in that. It sounds like you, yeah, I don't know. I have a very good mix of both. I'd rather play with people I really, though, just don't have many friends who are like, yeah. I mean, do you think that, like... Has it always been like that, or is it like that now because you played video games too much? Most of my friends are, like, not in, like, that good contact with anymore. And part of it is that I don't like doing stuff, man. I don't like going out that much. I don't like going out drinking. And like, not everyone has like, I think it's pretty unrealistic for most people to find that they're like, that they have a lot of friends who want to chill online. Maybe it's more likely now, but to find friends who like to be online, they kind of have to be online friends to some degree. I've like met in real life several people who I've like played WoW with back in the day, or like played League with the last like few years. It's pretty sweet. It's crazy how he can like scale walls the way this guy does. Yeah. Do you think some of those people would chill with you if you like rang them up? or to like where things heavy enough that like you just don't think you're friends with those people anymore. People change, especially as like as they hit adulthood. Like your like quality, like your categories of friends change for sure. Like a lot of times you're close to a group of guys who like just because you went to the same school or something. Like if you think about it as like a grown-up set of reasons, it's a pretty flimsy reason to be friends with people. But if you're tight with those people for a long time, it's like intimacy and like the amount of time you've known someone like really means a lot, I think. Like yeah, like having perfect friendships or like perfectly sharing time with people and like sharing interests is great, but like in some ways the only thing you really share is time. And like you can speak to people so honestly who have known you forever and like have seen you go through stuff, or you've seen them go through stuff, or like you've helped them go through a tough time, etc. Sometimes it feels like time is like the most important quality for friendship. Like I guess I'm asking, like, do you think those people would be like happy to hear from you if you reached out to them? Because life can go pretty fast, and suddenly like you can realize there's people you haven't spoken to in a while who you really like. That was a fast day. What the fuck? Try to message people, I put up to work. Yeah. What's hard is to like accept that reality and to like not chase after something that like people aren't putting the time into. It's like you have to keep the same standards for other people that you keep for yourselves to some degree. And if like don't to like not push people if like they're not putting the time in, and like let them be the ones to regret it, you know what I mean? Or just like move on. Where's that stonecutter that I can't reach it? Over there. The key is to always be like to be good with what you're doing. And then whatever things come to you socially, like just they come what may. That's a hard thing, man. To like find the activities and to find the things that you do and the things that you're about that you're fine with on your own. And then also so that way you can like kind of grow organically as opposed to like thinking about the things that you're missing. That can be hard. It could also mean that sometimes you're like end up more antisocial than necessarily you want to be, which can be kind of like a bit weird too sometimes. But I think people who are like always looking to need to spend time with people are like a little insecure. You gotta be good with you before people are good with you. You gotta be good with you before you like can actually like enjoy spending time with people, to be honest. Don't fit in, I think I fucked that one up. Yeah, it's a rough stage, man, for sure. You're not getting like the social network that you wanted. I mean, you can come in here and help me do this. I'm just like making. You can for sure help me come here and do this. Now that I have like the idea of where I'm gonna put the walls, etc. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not complaining about that at all. But it also seems like people aren't like doing it for you lately. People like aren't doing it for you lately, for sure. I need to get more iron for stone cutters. I mean, it's all good, man. I'm just like here. Like, part of me doing this is like to make a connection. It's to, like, I don't know, to talk to people too. Look at that deer on top of the wall there. It's so funny. Okay, here, let me figure this out. Here, I'll put my Discord in. Okay, I gotta change Discord. Do we push to talk? Is the middle mouse button really called mouse 2? Interesting. Didn't know that. Hey, let me double check. Yeah, it's maybe try the capital letter like that. There you go. Yo. I think you're muted. There you go.
Yep. Hello?
Hey.
Yo.
How you doing?
You know, just chilling.
I love it.
Do you want me to send you my Steam friend code?
Oh yeah, is that the next step? I forgot about that.
Yeah, actually here, you send me yours. I have to switch accounts.
Okay. Sign in. Chat. Do I do start server or community server? I forget.
I think it's community. I'm not sure though.
Okay. Okay, I did start server with the password, and then I'll see if I can invite you from Steam.
Is your Steam name Baropi?
Yeah.
Okay, I just added you.
how do I get this to update? Okay, let me know when you log in. I'll be able to invite you.
Yep, I'm just loading it up right now.
Oh, the piggies are coming out. I could probably clean some of these dudes out while I'm doing this. Three different tones of death. It's so funny. Okay, 2 boars and a piggy there. One call this. I guess they took too long to blow up for me to figure this out. There you go.
Alright, I'm in Valheim.
Okay. It still shows you as offline in Steam.
Oh, here, let me set my profile to online. Alright, there, it should be online now.
Okay, just invited. Put the password in Twitch chat.
Okay.
No, Discord actually. That in there, put the meat away. That was a good amount of meat. Got another 12 there. Sweet.
Alright, I'm in.
Okay, sweet. There's a portal directly southeast of the rings
Okay.
in the house.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, all that's there. I have a good amount of rock on me. I can get a little more, I think. There's stone there. Hey, pal.
Alright. So what do you need done then?
Okay, so what I'm doing for now is that basically the big earth walls along the outside are basically going to be like the outer walls of the keep. So I'm just working on like converting the earth walls to like stone walls. Just these will be like the outer castle walls. So I'm going to take this one out basically to where this is in a straight line, and then I'm going to do the other side at the far end and then try to figure out how to connect them in the middle. So basically I'm just like replacing the earth wall with like stone keeps now. Basically at the level that it is and below, down to like the earth line.
Alright.
So I've got a stone cutter bench here. There's like piles of stone everywhere over by the house, and I'm just doing this side. You can join me on this part or do the other half if you want, whatever you prefer.
Alright, this is not my main character, so I'm just gonna quickly switch so I have higher pickaxe level.
All right.
If you can re-invite me.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll put these here. And there's the stone cutting bench too for the next level. I have to repair my gear again. There's like the map table inside the house too. You want to like get the whole map. I think that's the way it works.
Yeah, I'll be getting whatever you've discovered so far.
If you click the map or just when you log in?
No, when I use the map table.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just like trying to figure out. I made like the big earth wall basically to like give a lineup of what we're doing. And I'm basically like replacing it with this, so it's pretty like busy worky.
Well, for some reason I have a inventory full of stones, so that's pretty good.
Ideal. Like, I guess I'm just digging this out to like bring the castle wall down to like ground level. It's kind of ghetto, but like to get like the stuff going, like you can't really just do one level at a time. It was like whatever your height level was. I guess I'm just replacing it.
Well, it'll definitely look good. I wanted to do this on one of my worlds, but it just took too much time.
Oh yeah, for sure. This will be like several days to do the castle walls.
Should I break this piece right here on the end, or is this gonna break the wall?
I mean, you can try it. We can just replace it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's gonna break it.
Yeah, then the question is how much. Another question is like whether I keep bringing it lower, or just kind of move forward for it.
Well, yeah, I guess because it depends also like how high you want it.
I think this is about as high as it'll need to be, and then it's a matter of like I don't really like the raised earthen walls. Like it's kind of ghetto, so if it'll just eventually be like probably a single level castle walls, or like maybe a double. Like this is gonna be the outer area, and then just like I'll just bring it down to basically where the earth wall ends. I guess basically just like replacing it.
That's what you plan on doing? You just plan on replacing like this whole wall right here then?
I guess so. Like the wall is so high because I started at that ridge line, like at the far end, and so like whenever you do raised ground, it brings it to whatever level you're at.
Yeah, like I mean, if I was you, I would not be redoing it because I know earth walls take a long minute to do.
Yeah, I guess I was just doing it basically as like a blueprint, and it got that high just by like trying to keep it continuing from the top. But I don't know. The earth wall itself looks rough. I'd rather have it be like pure stone.
Well, yeah, it doesn't look as good, but it's definitely practical.
Yeah, for sure. But you get a lot of stone back if you like pickaxe the stuff. Resources don't really matter. I just want it to like be a finished product at some point.
Yeah, stone is everywhere.
True. Almost all the stone I have now just came from like those 3 huge boulders that were like on the beach earlier. So do you think we should go lower than this?
Well,
I guess maybe eventually. Just get it to the ground level.
Yeah. Well, because I guess this also depends if you're gonna level out this whole area inside.
Inside, yeah, I'm gonna level out a lot of it, but it'll still be kind of like tiers going up.
Then yeah, I would keep going down to make it look like an actual full
So
wall.
too. Oh yeah, freestone that I used before. And then it'll go to like basically the end, kind of like where this island meets the other part. And and then we'll do the other side, and then just figure out whether we want to meet the 2 walls with one straight wall and bring this one out to the water a little bit, or whether we'll do like 2 at a different diagonal and just leave it open. That's like kind of the next step.
All right.
Between those 2 things, that should be like enough for tonight. It'll probably take an hour or 2.
But yeah, what? You've been streaming almost an hour.
Yeah. It's a pretty good like pace right now with Dark Souls and Valheim. Dark Souls is really easy to play for like 3-4 hours a day without getting tired. Before I was like, and do I have no stamina for this? When I was playing like Octopath, like a JRPG, I'd be after like 90 minutes, I'd be like, God, I'm done. But with this game and like Deus Ex and like Dark Souls, it's so much easier to play longer.
For me, it wouldn't even be getting tired. It'd be like just me rage quitting.
Yeah, fair. The thing with Dark Souls is no matter how like miserable it is when you're playing it, when you get done a level, you're like, you still feel the accomplishment, you know?
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, even the parts that are like, fuck, this sucks, you still eventually are like, alright, good, I'm glad I did that. Like, in the end, it works out. It's a pretty cool part of the game.
No, yeah, like I said though, I really want to play Dark Souls 1 and 2 again. Or at least 1 again.
I think people like seeing other people play for the first time. Like, it kind of like reminds them of them doing it.
Yeah, I can't even remember half of the game.
Yeah. Next time, for the next game I play, I'd like to play something like where I'm more like agile. It's really fun being that heavy though, like killing things in 2 to 3 hits.
Oh yeah, but the only thing is you gotta make sure you have your strength and endurance up.
Yeah, mine are pretty high. And now it's like more of a question of like, I would like to settle on a weapon fairly soon, and like armor, but I find armor especially, it's like, you just basically like make a combination of armor so that you hit like 50% weight.
Your mic cut out, by the way.
Oh, okay, I must have let go of the button. But basically you're just like swapping armor in and out all the time, as opposed to having like a steady set. That's like good and bad in some ways.
I feel that. Well, that blunt thing that you're using, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so strong. It is pretty low strength scaling, but like the raw damage on it is crazy. It's really fun.
So do you want to just keep it like this high, I guess then, for now?
I think so. I think where it is now, where the river is, I'll eventually dig this out and make like a arch for kind of like a bridge at this point. But for now, I just want to do the full straight lines so we can get like the outer area just basically defined.
All right, and then do you want me to just like raise the ground underneath to cover up the gap, or?
I don't think it's really important now. That's like kind of like
okay.
fiddle stuff for later.
All right.
Oh.
Well, I mean, here you almost don't even have to take down the earth wall, but
yeah, we're getting to the point where it's less urgent now. Yeah.
Do you want to just take all this like wall out though, even though we don't need to?
Yeah, I think we will eventually. Just like we'll still have to clear it to get the stone in the way.
All right.
I just kind of want to get the outer shape ready. The more you get the outer shape, the more you can start moving on the outer stuff, you know?
But yeah, you want to get the layout down.
Workbench is too far now. I gotta break these up. It's weird that you can't like take apart the stone cutting bench if you already took apart the workbench. You gotta do it in the right order.
That's a little annoying. This might break, yeah.
Not enough support?
Yeah, no, there's no like ground where you have to place it. Yeah, I just raised it up a little. Yeah, it's just barely missing the base of the earth wall.
I gotta change it to voice activity. I don't like push to talk. Too much work. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. Still works. Now we're at the stage where it's so high that I kind of do like ladders to get the right angle on it.
You might have to.
Kind of finicky. Bad though. Okay, then this is going to be really only probably one more.
Like that?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we might eventually. It depends on how far the other way goes, but this side's probably gonna have to Redstone. This side's probably gonna have to go further out into the water if we're gonna do a straight line from the other side. But like, just tomorrow we'll do the other side, and then kind of figure out where they're supposed to meet. I think that putting them both at a diagonal and having them kind of like, because the open part in the middle is gonna be like where the dock entry is. So if both of those are diagonal, because the middle is going to be open anyway, like a good chunk of the middle, because I need like clearance for like at least 1 or 2 boats. So if we finish this today, the next one should be tomorrow.
Alright.
Yeah, I remember whenever I played City Skylines, I would really like it for like 4 or 5 hours, maybe longer. But then eventually, like, when you get into, like, the weeds of, like, the little shit, it would kind of start to get frustrating. Like, when, like, your areas would start to, like, run out of resources and stuff. I don't know. Something about it started to bother me. I'd always quit on it.
Once you get endgame, your city kind of starts to collapse, and you have to, like, rebuild everything.
Yeah. I find most city builders have always been like that. At some point, I kind of, like, run out of gas for them.
No. My best city is at like 20k right now, and I have such a big traffic problem.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet that they've like basically taken over what SimCity is. You'll have to make a bed. So do you have any wood on you?
I do.
I'll make one now.
I'll make one.
It's like basically SimCity is like pretty trash now. Like the recent ones are kind of like full of like, more microtransactions, etc.
Is there a specific place I should put it?
No, whatever. This is all like gonna be something else in a couple of days, I think.
SimCity's only on mobile though, right?
Yeah, the new ones are. Like, when was the last time they made one? Like SimCity 4, was that the last one? That series used to be the shit. Now I just don't even know.
I don't even remember SimCity like 1, 2, or like 3 and 4. I just know like just SimCity.
Yeah. I don't know, it's hard to tell. But like, it's a very cool idea. Just, I think they kind of got killed by like classic EA being EA.
Probably.
I've had to eat.
Do you have any onion stew?
No, I don't have onions yet. All the food's in here. All the finished dishes are in the one on the right. Just take whatever you want.
Carrot soup is literally the same thing, I think.
What is?
Carrot soup? I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
Yeah. Isn't onions like 2 levels above it? Is onions, that's like mountains, isn't it? Or plains?
Plains is cloudberries.
Okay.
I think, yeah, onions are mountains.
Yeah, so the best one I have is turnip stew right now, or the other things to make with like blood bags and honey, etc.
No. Turnip stew, I think, is the thing I thought.
Yeah. I don't think I bothered to make it yet.
I don't even have onions yet. Where's your map?
It's in the main room.
Oh yeah, I see it. I'm blind.
The only decoration in there.
Okay. Damn, you've been in a lot of places.
Think so?
More than me on my world, I think.
This continent I'm on is really nice for having a lot of stuff, and the continent that I have explored right above me also has like really good variety of resources. So I'm pretty lucky in that way.
Yeah, I see a little bit of plains.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 different plains on that continent above. And there's one in the far west as well, where the little house icon is on the far west.
Okay, yep, I see it.
Basically, at one point, I took like a 5-day boat journey, thinking I would just go around my continent. It got in way over my head. It's fun though. It sucks in the moment, but like eventually it gets you where you need to be.
No, I'm not a big fan of going on boats and stuff, especially when the wind is in the wrong direction.
It can be really slow for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of feels like an adventure though. You gotta like mark it out at some point. It was just funny, like I thought I'd be out of my place for 45 minutes, but it was like an hour and a half. And at one point in like the boat journey that went all the way to the northern continent, like got like assassinated by some Desquito. We like lost so much gear that I just never bothered getting back because it was like bronze. And I was already in the iron part.
No, those things mess you up. I think the like 2 hit me.
Yeah, they'll 2 hit me too, but luckily they die in 1 hit, so. Oh, I forgot the stuff for the stupid table, Rebecca. But I've had like a really good 2-day period of, I had a really good like 4 or 5 day period of getting crypts and stuff. So my like iron stores should be good for like hopefully a really long time. Like I should have everything I need.
You use the portal trick, or do you take it back by boat?
I took it back by boat. I would fill the boat
Wow.
up and take it home. I don't know what the portal trick is, but I did it old school, purist.
Yeah, so the portal trick is you have your iron ore on you. You make another world. You place down like 1 floor and like a storage box. You put the iron in that chest. You go back to the main world that you had originally gotten the iron on. You head back to like your base or wherever you're gonna smelt the iron or keep it. And then you leave your main world,
That
go
makes sense,
back, and yeah.
I was talking to someone who drops by the stream sometimes who said like he did his custom world that has like a couple of tricks to it to make the game a little easier. I think that was one of them, but also the other ones were like not having to refill torches and a couple other weight restriction things as well. That's fair. I don't mind. I like playing the vanilla game, but I think there's some things if it, like you're going through your second playthrough that that's fine.
No, me as well. I don't like mods.
I think a game like this is like balanced pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think personally the game's perfect vanilla.
I think it is really impressive. I wish stamina was like a little less punishing, but like I'm not saying it's like necessarily bad the way it is. It's just like that's how I die every time basically. Is either like not planning an encounter or just like stamina fucking me because I'm just not used to it.
Well, what type of armor do you wear? Like right now you look like you're wearing nothing.
I'm naked right now, but I have my iron set on me.
Okay.
Just generally I find like if I'm fighting a strong creature, it'll usually be like the stamina stuff that like I don't plan it well enough. That's most of my deaths. This is a game that I'm like generally kind of bad at, I think. In terms of like planning and like how many times I die, even compared to people I would play with generally. I'm like a little bit of an intern in this game. Whatever.
Well, Dark Souls should prepare you for having no stamina.
Yeah, it's true.
The fighting's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's true. There's a good synergy between the games I'm playing.
I assume you just want to destroy the earth wall until this corner right here?
Yeah, I mean like I'm trying to keep the exact same angle as the other castle wall. So it's like not really hitting the earth wall that well. I guess it was just like basically like a guideline. So most of this, like basically all of this can go. The part on this half we can keep, but like yeah, right. I think most of that will eventually. I gotta make sure this stays like supported. slip one of these under here.
Is this a good level, or do you want to go like deeper down?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It'll like probably be like the flat land. This will probably be my garden. And only the front half of it will be fine. I still want it to kind of like gradually go up, like in terms of all the natural area. But where the stone wall is great, thank you. The earth wall, I mean. Six stone for peace. It's like actually pretty like. It's kind of like the math is pretty good on that. One by one and 4 by 2 are like so different. I think I had about 3,500 stone originally, so I wonder how much of it I'll go through. Probably all of it.
Well, it looks like you still have quite a bit.
Yeah. I probably used like 600 or so.
If you do somehow run out of stone tonight, I could always go to my world. I have like, I don't even know how many iron chests full of stone.
You don't make the miscellaneous like stone piles?
No, I keep it in a chest.
Yeah. I think
So
that
I'll just forget where it is.
Best quality of life thing that happens in the game is when you get the reinforced chests.
Oh yeah.
It's like before that, it's like sucks, man. It's like always you're like a little bit short. You're like maybe I won't take the dandelions or whatever. You always like kind of like you're not, yeah, but like it's the biggest quality of life improvement in the game, I think. Funny, like I really wish I knew the reasons why. I think it's like a level ground thing. It's always like curious when a wall's gonna work, or sorry, when's a crafting table gonna work versus when it won't. Like, all right, it was none of these places, but then suddenly this one worked.
They're very specific.
So specific.
Building.
I was talking before about how like different kind of like games, like different people are looking for different things when they're playing. This is like a good friend of mine who like I played Valheim with a lot the first time I played, which was like early 2 years ago now, early 2021. And like even recently, he'd be like, yeah, sure, let's get, I'm down to play it once Mistland came out and everything. But I realized like he lives in like Ontario, so it's like a 3-hour time difference, etc. In a game like Valheim, it feels like I want to do a full run. I want to do it fresh, despite us getting to like near the end of the swamps last time. And I was like, especially with a 3-hour time zone difference, I'm like, we'll never have enough time to like do all of this stuff like together. So it's kind of like one of the reasons I did the solo playthrough as well. Though he'd be totally down to play, so I feel bad about it sometimes. I just like realized that like this is gonna take like, I don't know, this is probably like an 80-hour game if not more.
Yeah, it's very time consuming. You said you have never been to the mountains, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm surprised because you've been playing a lot longer than me.
Yeah. I guess I'm pretty thorough or something. Last time we played, we had everything done for the swamp, except for fighting bone mass. Where'd the iron go? We had everything done except fighting bone mass. I think we were just like mostly building and having fun doing stuff like that. Kind of the way I am now. Because the thing is, once you get the swamp stuff done, once you get all the iron and everything, you have like, it seems like you have mostly everything you need in the game to like do most of your building. Like, yeah, you can get black marble or shingles or all that shit, but does that really matter? Not really. It's not nearly as impactful as the rest is.
No, everything after bone mass is like optional.
I think
almost.
so, yeah.
You haven't fought Bone Mass yet, though, right?
No.
Okay.
Once I get the castle like pretty much done, that's what I'll do.
Well, I don't know. Do you get raided pretty often, or not really?
No. I was watching YouTube videos while I was eating dinner today, and it said that that hurt. It said that like you have a 20% chance to get raided for every 46 minutes you play. That's what they said the calculation was.
Well, getting raided after the swamps is like it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing all this now, because I want to be ready.
No, get your walls up high so blobs don't get in.
Yeah, is that the one where it's like the smell of the swamp?
Yeah.
That's happened once or twice, but it was just Draugr and skeletons. It wasn't that bad. Okay, so
sometimes you'll get the blobs and they will kill like all your boars.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, because like even like other things come in. Okay, so this is, as far as I can recall, as far as I know, this is the same angle as the other stuff. So we can't really see the far wall from here. Oh, you can, yeah. So the angle of the stone from here would either be. Do you see the angle we can make here?
So
if we do the one that's like a right angle, like that goes really far out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well that's gonna be over water.
Yeah, so you'd have to like raise the earth out there. We're probably gonna have to basically, I don't know. So the question is like how to connect the two. I do want to make like the wall go out, but if we do it one more in, then the angle is not that good. Like it's kind of like, it's not a. Maybe we do it this way.
I tried 2 more, but kind of looks a little awkward.
What do you mean?
Here, I'll try to do it like that.
Yeah.
But that's still over the water.
That's okay. Like that'll just be like we'll just terraform across that part and raise a thing of iron. So the question is, I guess, the question is whether we do it that way or whether we do it closer to this, like the actual 90 degree, and then do the other way at a certain angle so that they meet out at, they're both at a diagonal. But the thing is, this way, it's nice to have the right angle, which is like kind of more symmetrical, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot of extra space that I don't really need to do.
Well, didn't you also want to build like a really big statue as well?
Well, what I was saying is, once these two walls meet all the way across, I then carve out like basically the middle third of the whole area, and that'll be like the entry dock / harbor. And then I'll keep a little, there'll be a space in the middle, which is however many spaces wide, like 4 or 5 spaces wide, enough for the big boat to go through, and then build the statue over that. So each leg is on either side of the statue. And that'll be like my beacon that you see as you come in the bay. But that's like a later thing. For one, that would take like the boss's head from the plains. And it just would be a really cool idea. Basically, it would be like a statue standing over the opening that you go through when you take your boat back into the base. So, but either way, like the walls are going to be open. So yeah, I guess I can do some of this from down below. I have no food on me.
I ran out of food as well.
Deer stew, fall apart tender, delicious. Okay, so I want to make sure that we have both stone walls at the same angle. So I'm going to make the mission across the other side. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like, I was like, okay, before I finish the swamps, sometimes you still get swamp raids, but I remember after I killed the Elder, there was like some troll raid that just like broke my whole base up. I was like, all right, I can't beat the next boss until I actually have like something defensible. So that's kind of like the reason why I'm doing things now, is to get like most of like a skeleton of like the defensible base up, so that things don't go too bad if I get raided after that.
I got raided once by trolls, and I had someone in my world, and they went AFK at the time.
Yeah.
And my base was just like, it was all wood and in the open.
Yeah, trolls are really good at destroying that.
It was really big though, but yeah, they destroyed like the whole thing.
So do you think it's like, do you think the raid is harder if you have people on your world?
Yeah, because it scales.
Yeah,
like,
I thought the bosses scaled, but I didn't know that the other things, I didn't know that the raids did too. That sucks.
I don't know if bosses do. I've never heard about that, but I know raids do.
Yeah, actually, the conversation I had about it before with someone was like, I thought we were talking about bosses, but the words they were using was raids. So now I kind of realize what thing we were actually talking about. It's pretty fun to do like it's pretty fun to do to like defend a raid from like the top of your castle walls with like a buddy shooting arrows down on the trolls and everything. Pretty fun, as long as you have moats and everything. Okay, so now the decision is to basically... Now the decision is basically what angle to do the cross wall. I love 90-degree angles and I love symmetry, but I don't know if it's the right thing. There's such a simple straight line across. It just would be... We'd have to take this one really far out if we're doing the right angle. We have to take this like really far out.
Yeah, the only thing is though is like there's no stone piece that goes like directly kind of in that direction. You're gonna have to build out into the water regardlessly, or
yeah,
you'd have to build inwards.
So what angle would you suggest for connecting these two? Like this one, basically? Like that? That's the one that's like the closest.
That's what I would go with, honestly.
Yeah. Is it gonna look weird though, like from a distance? To have them like... This does seem like the right angle. Otherwise, we'd have to build this side out, or both sides out, like way farther into the water. If we want to do a full 90 degree. The 90 degrees is too much. Yeah, it's excessive. Okay, so we have the earth wall here.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a guideline. Let me get up here. So do we have to make... The other question is... The other question is, do we do both of the sides at the same angle? And will that... Or do we do two different ones and then just leave the opening? No, it'd have to be the same angle, whatever they are.
I would try to do the same angle, almost. But I don't know if it'll work.
It should be close enough, and we can stop the... We'll have to, like, increase the length of one of these walls, I think. Right? Probably this one.
I was gonna say, yeah. You'd probably want to increase this one out by one.
So basically the angle to connect them is halfway between straight ahead and 90 degrees. So it's basically a 45. That's good enough. That's like still like in the right film. So maybe we should build this bad boy out a little further. And does that go on the earthen walls? Yeah, it does. This is good enough. Just increase it out there. And I can work on like really anal symmetry later. This is in the morning. It's the next task. One thing I found funny is once I started making the earth walls, like seagulls started coming in and landing on it and like staring at me. Like they liked it. It's a nice moment.
I can never kill those things.
Yeah. You like them too much?
No, I just can't fucking aim too well with my bow. It's the only bad thing.
I guess I'm just an animal softie. I mean, I find like you just kind of stumble into feathers from a lot of stuff, like those meadow chests, etc.
Yeah. Well, wait until you get Loxes. And you have to bring those things back, if you do.
Yeah. One thing I saw people do when I was watching streams of this game, when the new one came out, when Mistlands came out, was to dig a hole in the ground and lead the locks into the hole. and tame them there.
You could do that. It's kind of a little bit more work. If you clear out a decent sized area where Loxes are, then you can tame them just in the open.
Like just by going up and feeding them stuff, or what?
Yeah, you just same way. Well, not same way as boars, because you don't have to trap them.
Boars I'd always like lead home. Otherwise they like attack me and I fuck it up.
And Loxes, you can just, if you crouch, kind of just chuck some berries and then just like walk away.
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit, but they will tame.
That seems like the tameness would go up really slowly.
It does.
Even with the boars, it would be like really the same thing. Yeah. I also saw like a video of someone using this like harpoon to like move tamed creatures from one place to another.
Yep, the harpoon's pretty useful.
What else is it used for?
Killing krakens? Or no, leviathans.
Serpents they're called, I think?
Yeah, sea serpents.
I also read that, like, I'm not sure this is true or not, but I'm also saying people like have been able to like dig canals and then pull the serpent into it, and can you maybe tame it as well?
I'm not sure. I've never heard of that.
It'd be kind of like a pretty niche usage. It wouldn't be able to like, it wouldn't even really be able to kill anything. But it'd be kind of cool to have like a Star Wars style like pit of fucking despair.
That would be cool though.
Put him in with the serpent.
That also probably just scared like everyone that ever came onto your world.
Yeah, true. Good. There's actually a serpent who lives, if you press the map, like if you look above it, it's like it's a whole bay. There's actually like a red colored serpent who lives in that bay and who I see essentially every single time I'm there. And he like always kind of stresses me out, but I'm really glad he's there. It's like my own like personal one. It's so cool.
Would have just killed him by now, honestly.
I like having him in there. It's like a lucky thing for the game to have kind of like set things up that way, you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
Kraken stew is so good.
That's a real thing?
On here, yeah, it's like a good food.
So funny. There's plenty I would kill, like out in the ocean, but that guy, he can stay. Alright, so, I guess it's ultimately the decision is which of these walls we leave as, like, we'll have to, like, yeah, one of them will probably have to go out further. I guess we kind of, like, thought it was this one, right?
Yeah. You want me to build this up?
I'm gonna group, how much further out do you think we should do it?
Well, I would just like leave it at this and then build across.
What do you mean? What's the angle after
Like
the stone?
I wouldn't build out any more walls.
Yeah.
I would just go towards the other one.
But if we do that, it's... Yeah, you're right. It's like that. They're gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, because that's as best as you can get it.
Yeah, and then it'll be like one or two more extended in the other wall, and then we should be clear after that. So I guess we just do one at a time for now. Like, it doesn't have to be a high wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alright, well, do you want to do both sides at once, or do you want to do this part?
I feel like if we both work on one side, it goes faster.
Probably. I guess one person, like, I'll just try to, like, keep raising the earth. These go pretty well. I think it was you who was like watching, like, oh, I was forgetting. Do you have like clips on your YouTube of like, you fighting Mistland stuff?
Oh, I've never been to Mistlands. Like I said, I'm only at mountains right now. So, definitely was not me.
There's someone I was watching who was like the first person I saw using the at gear, like the long pole arm. It's like they're fighting Mistlands creatures. Like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking sick. It's like I never really used that weapon before. I like tried and failed to use Stagbreaker before. Stagbreaker apparently goes through doors though. It's like it's got advantages.
Yeah, it has a really good AoE.
I just remember like using it and just like being so slow.
I really like this hammer.
That was cool.
It's,
I want like a broadsword or a hammer. I heard there's also like I saw like some videos like watch people doing playing on Twitch and like it's kind of like seems to be like a magic staff or something in later game stuff.
Yeah, in Mistlands I think there's staffs and stuff now.
Ranged spells. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I like a nice broadsword. Something two-handed. There's a two-handed battle axe. That's you can get from iron, but
Ancient axe.
I think just like I think there's just an iron axe or battle axe or something. Is it called ancient axe? The one you can just get from iron?
Because you use ancient wood.
Right. That'd be pretty cool. But like I already built the sword, so if they're both slashing, it's like doesn't seem like this one. Yeah, put my money into.
Well, no, not really.
Okay, get the stonecutter base.
So this hammer is perfect for the swamp.
Why is that?
Because it does blunt damage for like the blobs and skeletons.
Is blunt damage good against the blobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it does. Let me check. Spirit damage against the Draugrs.
Spirit damage?
Yep.
I think I was fighting a I think I was fighting a troll lately, and I shot with an arrow and noticed that the arrow did like really vulnerable damage to it. It was yellow numbers when I fought it. Maybe it was just the kind of arrow I was using or something, but I think daggers and arrows are really effective against trolls. Maybe so it's piercing damage, I guess?
Yeah. So like spears, daggers.
I would be nervous using a spear against a troll if you're still like in bronze gear or something like that. Like it'd fucking hit you pretty hard.
I love spears. That's my go-to.
Like the over the hand spear or the two-handed like pole arm? Like the one that does the spin or the one that does the throw?
No, the one that does the spin is the Acura. I don't like those.
Yeah. You like the spear that does like the overhand like attack?
Yeah, like the normal spear.
The guys in the chat yesterday, Master Dub as well, is like that too. He's like uses like shield and that spear the whole game. It always like seems shit to me. I don't know. That's working for you guys. Like it only has one movement. That's the part. I think that's the part that kept turning me off. Is it just as the one stab? You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't even use swords or anything. I always just used spears.
Yeah. It's pretty consistently doing like, I don't know. I found like when I was playing previously, that the one person with a mace and shield and one person with a sword and shield was like really effective. Because the two-handed ones, I felt like I was kind of like, I just didn't get figured out. Let me move the boats.
Yeah, well, it just depends like how good your dodging is as well. If you need a shield to parry.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna get beached here. Oh, the tide is really helping me here. One thing I really noticed from playing like a year and a half ago to now is the how many more fish there are, and like just how much more like alive that whole scene is. They're just like hopping around constantly. They're a little buggy, but they add like this pretty sweet vibe to everything.
Yeah, they added a lot of fish during the Mistlands update. I know that was one of the big changes.
for sure. Like it makes the water like they're so buggy, but it's just sweet to see them.
What makes it look like an actual ocean?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to shore. There must be like, how many expansions are there for City Skylines now?
Just main DLCs. There might be like 6 or 5, but
Yeah.
then there's like the map packs, the music packs, and then there's all the like the kind of mini DLCs.
That'd be like
And then
green
there's the
energy or
creator
something.
packs.
What are they usually?
I could list which ones? The mini DLCs?
Yeah, sure, or just everything. Curious.
I know for the main DLCs, the ones I've seen is Park Life, Mass Transit, I think Green Cities, Airport, Industrial.
Yeah, I remember the Green Cities one. The airport's a full DLC, huh? Must be pretty detailed.
You said it's pretty new?
Must be pretty detailed. If it's like a whole airport expansion.
Yeah, you can build a lot. I don't have it, but I've seen YouTube videos.
Yeah.
We need to move the stone cutter.
I think it's really cool how like the tides like will just like surge forward and like go through the ground sometimes, etc. Like when I was flattening up that other area, like the tides would like go under the rock wall, just like go right back into where I had the garden. I was like, oh shit, I don't have it high enough. Give me sweet physics.
No, even if you have a dock, water will just go right through it.
For sure. Any more stone?
Here, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab my dog.
Okay. Outside?
No, he's just in the other room.
Good boy. Slow, annoying work. Halfway there, I guess. The third.
This is the grindy part of the game.
And then after this, it'll be like once the walls are up and everything, like I want to shave away like the earth walls so like they're as symmetrical as possible. But all that stuff you can do later. For now, it's like just get everything. What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Bernedoodle.
Burner Doodle?
Bernedoodle.
Is that a Bernese Mountain Dog Poodle mix?
Yep.
I love Bernese Mountain Dogs. That was my family's last dog. It just died like about a year ago.
That's unfortunate.
It was time. Like, she was like pretty old for a Bernese Mountain Dog. She was like 11, and like her back legs were pretty weak. Like, she's having trouble like standing up on slick surfaces and everything. So when my parents came to like visit me for Christmas, they decided it was time.
Oh, I know. Sadly, they don't really live too long. They live like 8 to 10 years.
Yeah,
normally.
surprisingly little.
And they're not even very big dogs either.
Yeah, they're beautiful color too.
Oh, yeah, I love the color. Mine's all black.
Oh really? No, it doesn't have any like that coffee color?
When his like near where his mouth is on the top, when it grows out, it gets brown.
Yeah.
And then he has a little bit of white on like 2 of his paws.
It's interesting. I see a lot more like hybrid dogs now that have like some Bernese in them. You can tell by the coloring, like a shepherd mix or something.
Well, everyone's mixing like all sorts of dogs now.
Yeah, I find especially in cities, people have poodle mixes a lot more.
Yeah,
Especially because the dogs are inside so much, and like those dogs don't
Yeah,
shed so much, etc. So like I think they're very popular city dogs.
I'm happy that I don't have to deal with hair.
Yeah, makes a big difference. Also, a lot of people are allergic because it's like the only dog they will get. It's like some sort of poodle mix.
Yep, I'm like kind of allergic to dogs.
Do you think that just meant that you weren't like exposed to them like enough as a kid?
Probably.
That's kind of how I assume allergies are.
Like,
Or just like you
he's
didn't
my
see it
first
early.
dog. I never had dogs or cats or anything.
I always felt like when I was growing up, like the kid who had the most allergies was the kid whose like mom tried to protect them from the most stuff. It's not like 100% the case. Like sometimes kids are like exposed to something when they're early. It's like early immune system exposure, I think, is a big thing.
Oh no, it helps. Like, I mean, my parents make fun of me even now that when I was younger, I used to fucking eat sand at the beach when I was a baby.
What a beast. I heard that like one of the best things you can do for like your kid's immune system is to like take them to like barnyards, and like that kind of the soil that a lot of livestock are in is like the best possible exposure for like a young immune system.
That makes sense. Like, I mean, there's lots of different animals, different like foods and stuff, and like lots of different bacteria.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason.
I would put the workbench right here if you could.
Where you are?
Kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like where we are right here. I can like kind of build out.
Yeah, it gives you more range that way.
Area.
Makes sense. These two.
Yeah, there's kind of like a good area right here.
For a while.
Right now, stone.
One of the big tricks they said in a lot of those videos was like, when you're raising the ground, just click right on the edge of the corner of the land you're on now. And it'll raise the whole stack ahead of you all the way up. So that way you don't have to do like 3 stacks to get it all the way up to where you had it before. It's a little bit annoying because it always makes the next part a little bit higher than the part you just did, but ultimately apparently it really saves you a lot of stone in the long run.
No, I never knew that.
If you just click right, if you go right to the edge, or you just click right on the edge of where you have it now, it'll push it forward and the whole stack will be that height. Apparently it should save you like literally thousands of stone if you're doing stuff like this. The other thing is like, I think it always is the same kind of square shape. So if you do things at a certain angle, you should be able to get better right angles than others. Like right now, I think we're kind of going like perpendicular to it. I find I like to do it about halfway up the slope. How often when you're working on stuff in this game do you like do it through the night? Or do you usually sleep?
Just depends how badly I want to get it done. If I can wait, then usually I'll sleep.
I usually sleep. I don't see the point of not doing it.
Where do you want to go sleep right now?
I was just wondering as we were going through. I'll probably like, it's just like you can't see as well. I'll probably stop in a second. There's no downside.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
No,
I have the light.
I should go buy that merchant. I cashed in all my like jewels and stuff like that, and it just made so much money. This is funny.
It's
This
really useful.
This is a two-man task. This is so funny. You're the spotter.
Let's make sure you can see.
That's so funny. Hey dude, how are you? Straight line. Just doing some major sea work here. Pretty good. Should finally be like the outer walls of the castle being done for this. First steps toward being protected. I think it's really fun in this game when you like spot all these like really big meadows. They're like hills that go down to like the water, and you're like thinking of how to, like where you're gonna make your base. That's like really satisfying.
That's one thing I have a problem with, is like picking my starter base spot and like just thinking, do I really want to stay here the rest of the game?
Yeah, you gotta like commit to it.
Yeah,
I like this.
Well, I hate
this spot
living
really
in
did
any
it for
other
me.
biome.
Say again?
I hate living in any other biome than the meadows.
Yeah, Black Forest isn't bad. As long as you have tall walls.
Yeah.
The first time we played, we like would change the base through the meadows, and then finding the new place, and then the Black Forest. We probably did 3 different bases before we settled on the Black. We made some like pretty tall stonework there. Still on the right line. Yeah, this is like the grindy part for sure, dude. Kind of fun though. Once it's done, like everything's about like satisfaction once you have something finished. It's a good game to be like tunnel visioned on. That was so funny when you busted out the headlamp.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, it's just so funny. I didn't think about that. One thing I was watching, I saw in a video today too, is different items you can use to put on item stands to make like different colors of like constant light that never go out. You can do poison resistance mead, frost resistance mead, and golden mushrooms. All have different unique colors of light. And then you can put them on an item stand, and you never have to replenish the light. It's mild, but it's got like a sick mood lighting.
No, I have like a big bar in my village, and that's what I did. I put mushrooms for like little lights on tables.
So cool. I'm gonna do that for like, it's probably where the like the garden stuff is too. I'm out of wood. I'm out of stone. That's enough for today.
Try to place this last wall down.
Go for it. Yeah, I mean, keep falling in. Forgetting my stamina again. It's one of those things where as long as you know what your end goal is, it'll be satisfying. Sometimes in a game like this, you can just do it and do it and do it, and like it'll just never end, and then that can turn into a bit of a time sink. But as long as you have a goal in mind, for this game, it's finishing the progression, and then like having this base in a place where I'm happy with it. You gotta figure out at which point you're gonna let it go. I still haven't used these like big iron cooking racks yet.
Never really use them because they're so big. You can't put a cauldron down with them.
Everything good gets made out of a cauldron now. There's like some things you need cooked deer meat for like some of the stews, but otherwise like everything gets cooked in it, so it seems like less useful recently. Okay, where are we at here? Boar jerky, I need some stone. My turnip crop's coming in good.
The good thing about the lamp too, or the light, is that you can wear the weight thing, the weight belt.
Yeah.
You can wear it at the same time.
What things can you not?
You can't use a wishbone at the same time.
What's a wishbone?
As the belt. You get that to find silver. You get it from killing the bone mass.
Sorry, what does it do again?
Wishbone?
Yeah.
It finds ores under the ground. It like pulses them.
Yeah.
So that like to find silver, it's completely underground.
In the mountains?
In the mountains, yep.
Interesting. So the bone mass buff is a mining buff?
The bone mass buff itself is a damage buff. You take reduced damage.
Bone mass is a tank buff. Cool.
I would never go back to Ekthir.
And think how little you use Elder.
No. Well, Elder's good, like
once a month.
Farm a bunch of wood.
Yeah. It's like 5 minutes of like everything goes down in like 3 shots. Kind of useful. Sometimes it's like this perfect raised ground, and sometimes it's like a little dinky little pop. I think this part we could have done one person on either side. Me in the middle.
Maybe.
I don't think you're like, you must be bored.
No. I mean, I'm just providing light in the middle of the day. I'll switch back to my helmet.
Are those clouds going overhead? Sweet. That's a really nice detail.
Yeah. I like the tree.
Yeah. Does that tree originate in the Mistlands?
No, sure.
I'm also like so like ridiculously abundant in honey. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I have like 300. Probably just might take them down at one point. Boar jerky is like the best use of it, or there's a blood bag and honey and something recipe.
Wolf jerky is really good.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is it the best use of the wolf meat?
I would say so. That's what I make. That's what I have right now, but I just ran out. I might have to go back to my world to grab some.
I don't think you really need it.
Which is good to have.
Yeah, I'm like kind of not like neurotic about it, but like I find I rarely use like good food while I'm at home. Some people do it so they always have like their highest stats possible, but I just kind of feel like it's wasteful.
Well, for your stage, like, I mean, it would be high tier. For me, it's like mediocre.
Yeah, I just mean like generally speaking, I don't use the best food just to have around at home. I just like kind of like stock it for going out. Okay, are we like halfway? We're like 2/3 probably.
I'd say so, yeah.
Should I get better doing this faster, I think? Oh, no, center. Oops.
I mean, you're doing it in a very smart way, but personally for me,
You just spam it?
just go from the I would just go from the bottom.
Yeah. If you can get the hang of this, this is really efficient. Kind of starting to get it. It's got to be close enough to the. Oh, my thing broke. Gotta go repair. Keep jumping. There we go. Are you gonna continue on that side? How's your stone supply?
I got 22 stone. Oh, man, my hoe broke.
Look, I'm probably down to like 600 now or something.
Well, you got that pile and another.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, I'm probably down to like less than 1,000. But I don't think I've used 2,000 here. Yeah, I have. Shit. I'm up here. It's tense.
I did not mean to even use that. Yeah, a really good
Nice.
thing I recommend making is sausages.
Yeah, I got a bunch. They're
That's
so good.
boar meat and honey, I think, just by itself.
It's boar meat, intestines, thistles. Boar jerky and boar meat and honey is boar jerky.
Yeah. But yeah, sausages are amazing.
Those are both so good because boar is the infinite meat.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty easy to find deer, etc. But problem with jerky is that it doesn't have very high stats. 23 health, 23 stamina.
Well, that's when you get like to wolf jerky. That's 53. 53.
That's crazy.
I think.
Key is once you get a couple of pieces, then you get the piece that's like kind of slid open. And that's the part where you can lean on the diagonal. And then you can get 3 really good pieces in a row after that. That's a good one. It's an okay one. Oh, maybe that helps. No, it's the same. A good one. is a good one. Oh, at a workbench range. Okay, don't fall in the water, Stonecutter's dead. Did it?
Hopefully it won't. It'll be hard to get all that stuff out.
I think... Is it stone, wood, and... What is it? I think the stone fell out, but who cares about that? Actually, the best thing to do to pick up stuff like that is just to leap into the water. And you drop under the surface, and you pick it back up. Okay, can you make a wide enough piece for me to do it?
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Oh. Here, can I make it a little wider? Oh, I ran out of stone.
Should be good.
That works.
Here, you want some?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
What's exclamation mark lurk do?
I don't have to be on your stream to give you viewers. I guess like a viewing.
Oh, interesting.
I do exclamation mark lurk, then it'll still say that I'm watching.
Oh, so people don't know that you're there?
Pardon?
So it's people don't know that you're there, basically?
Kinda?
Maybe that's the reason people do it, because that's kind of what lurking was originally. Lurking originally was like being there without like being online. Or like not interacting.
I don't know. Like, I mean, like I just switched to a different tab. I just switched to YouTube because I wanted to look at a couple tips for fucking city skylines.
Smart.
But if I do lurk, it'll still say you have someone viewing.
It's actually like been only in the last couple of days that I've been able to like have streams with like more than one average viewer. Usually be people coming in for a little while, etc. But it's starting to be getting a little closer to the levels they want it to be. That's good. Part of it's been like, I was talking about this last night a little bit, but like part of it is like game you play. Like,
yeah, that is true.
There's like really different communities. Like Dark Souls and Valheim people are like way more like talkative. Dark Souls people want to backseat you a little bit for sure, but they're still good people.
Well, I know I was definitely backseating a little bit when you're fighting those two people in the mansion.
No, that was encouragement. Backseating is like people coming in being like, you shouldn't have stamina more than 31 because you don't need it for Gwyn, Lord of Cinder or something. That's the stuff that's like, okay, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's like, that is true. I guess that's backseating.
People that being like, you can do this is fine, or like you're like too fat or something, that's fine. But like,
yeah, well, I don't blame you. Like, I mean, I was just giving you tips that I use for myself.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I didn't like, cause I don't know anything but Dark Souls, and Dark Souls doesn't tell you shit. You know what I mean?
No, they fucking throw you in the game and then pretty much slap you across the face.
There's one smith who, if you talk to him, will give you like some lowdown on some stuff, but they don't tell you anything. Like, I still don't know how to kindle a bonfire. I think you make yourself human, and then you use more humanity to do it. But like, how? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I tried to do it, I just wasted 2 humanity. It just like, I went up to 1 and then I went down to 0. I was like, all right, cool, sick. One guy was telling me how there's like soft caps of 20 and 40 strength, or like you're kind of like, you get diminishing returns above that, and when you are two-handing, you have a 50% strength bonus. So what most people do is just take strength to 27, which means that your strength is effectively 40 if you're using a two-hander.
Alright.
Pretty interesting. But like means that like my literal 40 strength is like, means that what I'm doing is like making it so that I can one-hand like the biggest weapons in the game. So it's kind of like excessive. And most people will go like to dex after that, apparently. Depends on the weapon. Like that really sweet Zweihander, like that two-handed sword, apparently is like best if it like 27 strength and then 40 dexterity. That's when the weapon does damage. I also went to one of the smiths. The giant smith had all these things being like, here are these boss souls, and you can like ascend your weapons with the boss souls. And a lot of them were like the Zweihander, being like, hey, do you want to make this like some special like lightning type weapon or something?
Well, right now I have Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, I don't really have much of a role because I haven't played it in like 2 months. But
Yeah.
Elden Ring, I like to dual wield heavy weapons.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be a while since I play Elden Ring. Because I'm not gonna play those games in a row. I'm gonna take a break between them.
Are you gonna play Bloodborne?
I don't have a PlayStation, so I guess probably not.
No.
I'm not opposed to getting a PS5 at some point.
I got one right before Christmas, before they sold out.
I mean, aren't they like more available now?
Yeah, they're definitely a lot more available, but it just depends where you live.
Right.
I mean, I don't live in the biggest town or city.
Does that makes it harder, you mean then?
Yeah, well, it just takes longer for them to restock. I mean, if I lived in Toronto, I could probably just go to another store.
Are you Canadian?
And yeah,
Nice. Where do you live?
I live in Halifax.
Nice. I was actually born in Prince Edward Island.
Really?
Yeah. I was in Halifax a year ago, September, last time.
I've only been to Prince Edward Island once.
Yeah, no one goes. Everyone says, oh, I'd like to visit there. That's what every single person says. Friends, like, acquaintances, everybody. It's like a place that, like, most people, like, know the idea of, but rarely go. My parents are still, like, my dad's still there. My mom moved back there after she retired. So, I still go every year. I actually spent the summer there. Before I was here.
Well, I went there in the summer a couple years ago, but the fucking power went out at like the hotel.
Right.
So that was like the only bad thing.
Were you in Charlottetown?
I can't remember where.
Charlottetown's like the main city.
I don't think so. I don't know, maybe.
Probably
it was about 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there this summer, and then I packed my car up, and I drove from PEI to Vancouver.
I would not do that.
It's pretty fun.
I drove last year. I drove from Halifax to Montreal.
Yeah.
And it was a decent drive on the way there. On the way back, though, I was driving back in the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah.
And it took me like, it was like 19 hours, I think.
Yeah, I did that the first day. I like really overloaded the first day and did PEI 2 past Montreal on the first. And then after that, I did. I stayed in Ontario for a week or so, less than a week, a couple of days, 5 days or something. And then I went to Windsor. I went to Ottawa, and then Toronto, then Windsor, then Windsor to Chicago, and then from Chicago I did like the real road trip. It's the U.S. Minneapolis, like North Dakota, Montana, Washington, and then it took me four nights and 5 days, I think, or 5 nights and 6 days, one of the two. Fun. You do it once, never do it again. Huh?
You live in Vancouver?
I do now, yeah. I only moved here at the beginning of November. It's like the first time I've been trying to. I don't know. I'm seeing how I like it here. I've always meant to try it out. So
You're
so
like
far so good. It's
4
nice.
hours. You're 4 hours behind me then.
Are you Atlantic time?
Yeah, Atlantic Standard.
4 hours.
It's almost 2 in the morning.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing too. My parents are in the same time zone as you, and my girlfriend's 3 hours behind. So, like, I say goodbye to everybody by like 6 or 7 my time, and the rest of the evening's mine. It's so sweet. I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, hey, because he's kind of a night owl too. I'm better now. I try to go to sleep by like 11:30 or something. But like, I have a friend of mine, and him and I have always been like kind of night owl stoners, though I'm neither of those things anymore. And I was like, hey man, I know you can't do this necessarily, but it's if you want to like live a normal life and have your own like nighttime time to yourself, move fucking 3 hours west of everybody you know, because you can just say goodbye to everybody by a certain hour, and then have the rest of the time to yourself. It's a pretty good fucking balance.
Oh, I'll definitely finish this wall tonight, and then I will be going to bed.
Smart man. What time do you usually go to bed?
Like the past 2 weeks, 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it's winter. I find every winter, my schedule kind of goes haywire a little bit, or used to.
I don't have anything better to do, so my sleep schedule's kind of fucked up. But
yeah, when I was like a legit not exercising, legit. I don't have any more stone. When I was like a legit not exercising pothead who played video games all the time, my schedule would do like a full fucking 360 every winter. Now it's not so much. Now it's not so bad because 3 out of every 5 days I go to the gym in the morning, so it helps me like really keep on point.
Well, that is one thing about Halifax I don't like, is that there's nothing here.
Halifax isn't bad. That's like got most of the stuff a city has, and it's a very pretty place too.
Well, I mean, maybe for like retired people.
Halifax, I think, is a pretty good young city.
I like bigger cities.
Yeah. I was impressed by Halifax.
Well, it's decent for where it is. I mean, it's the biggest city in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, by far.
But no, I definitely rather like Toronto. So that's where I'm from originally.
Yeah, I can tell by the accent. I was wondering before.
I have an accent.
Well, I don't know. You just sound. I lived in Toronto for like 10 years probably, and so I don't know. When you hear someone who speaks similarly to friends of yours, you kind of guess they might be from a similar place.
True. All right. Well, people who are born in Halifax or Dartmouth or that area, I know they sometimes do have an accent.
Yeah, I would have guessed you were from Toronto before I guessed you were from Halifax.
Yeah. Well, Toronto. It's like the most populated city, I think, right?
Yeah, I went there for school, and then I stayed for like a number of years after. I actually only moved away like in 2021. Like halfway through COVID, I was like, fuck this, man. Then I went to PEI for... I mean, I was just like, I had quit my job at the end of 2020, because like, it was dying, basically. And so I just spent like the next 5 months, like October to May, October to March or something. I was like just at home all the time. It sucked. It was like bad sleep schedule, and like it was just like a time where I was kind of like just in a rut for sure. So I decided to leave, and I got like a place in the woods, basically in a cottage in PEI. I did that for a while, and I traveled some more, and then kept going. I'm sleeping, by the way.
All right, yeah, I'm coming.
I used to live in like the last 2 places I lived in Toronto were like Riverdale area. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
Like Danforth. Like between Danforth and like Queen East, basically. Danforth is Greektown.
I don't know where it is.
On the other side of the DVP.
I know of the names.
Yeah, I mean like if you go east of downtown and you go over like the Don Valley River, and to like the other side, and you keep going like east on Bloor. Like Bloor turns into Danforth on the other side.
Oh,
like
okay,
just east of downtown.
I know where that is.
Like Parliament, like Cabbagetown, etc. That area. And then I lived there, and then before that I lived in Little Italy, like College and Bathurst area.
Well, I didn't technically live in Toronto. I lived in Oakville.
Yeah. Oakville's nice. Really pretty.
I haven't officially lived there in like over 10 years.
Right. That's how long you've been in Halifax?
Yeah.
Right on.
Should be like 11 years this summer.
Found 3 flint in the water randomly. Sprinting.
You fall in the water, it's a long walk.
Yeah. That's why I carved that little hole in the side. On your side? To climb back up.
Oh, yeah?
Oh. Okay, this part's not flat enough. I'll slip off.
So if you want me to break the stone wall, I can.
No, it's good. I fixed it now. before I was like sliding off. Yeah, but so far I like it in Vancouver. I like British Columbia just for like pretty good food for like groceries, etc. Like wild caught fish, etc. And it's nice and warm. It's like barely ever below zero here, so those parts are sweet. I don't think I necessarily need to live in like Vancouver. I'd rather live in a quieter place, less like concrete.
Well, Halifax, it's like you're living in London. It's like one day it'll be hot in like December. Next day it'll be snowing and like -10.
Yeah,
And then it'll be pouring rain for like the next 5 days.
Foul smell from the spawn. You ready?
As ready as I can be.
I know what happens.
Where are you getting shot from? I don't even see anything.
It just says it on the. It says on my map. It says on my my screen.
You took damage.
I guess from the jump. Here's something.
Oh, they're all behind me.
Really? Base seems clear. Think they're attacking the walls? Not a jogger. Some guys in the hill behind you. I'm going for. They think they got like occupied killing deer and shit.
Well, once you get wolves and you get a good amount,
yeah,
trust me, you'll be perfect.
They like patrol. Can you like get them to patrol your base or something? Like what do you do?
You can just leave them roam around inside your walls and they'll fucking. You won't need. You'll be able to just AFK it. They'll kill everything.
It feels great. I love it. Okay, there's more coming, but not too many more. Just more skeletons. Not more of them.
No, this should be it. You can definitely see though that like there's a lot of them just because there's 2 of us.
Yeah. Yeah, last time it was like 4 guys or something. Oh, they leave a thing in the mark. They leave a mark on the map, like where they're spawning from. Oh, they're still coming over here too. Right, it's all over.
Kind of, yeah. Got another one coming. I see a Draugr down there.
Yeah, he's busy slaughtering necks. I'll have free neck meat. Let me check the rest of the base in case something didn't go.
Yeah, make sure your boars are okay.
No, it's gone.
Oh yeah, there we go.
All right, that wasn't so bad. I think with the earth being the way it is, they can't even get inside the base. Hey, leave my walls alone, you asshole. I had these walls up and I had like the spikes in there too, and it was really quite helpful against the trolls. I stood up here and like I stood up here in these 2 towers and shot arrows at the trolls basically the entire time, and only at the end did they break down my walls. It was great. All right, so that's why I keep my gear on me despite being naked all the time. I always got 1 food on me too. I always keep that thing on me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I don't know where you want me to put it.
In here. I can put it away.
Okay, you do.
What do I got? I still got 85 stone. Should be enough. Okay, well I'm gonna finish the stone wall, I guess, and then build the other side out.
Alright, sounds good.
Then eventually some of this is gonna get destroyed again when I make the dock. Have to carve out the middle. Make a workbench again. blobs. That was nice.
You're lucky. Those things are very annoying.
It's only the second time I've seen the... oh shit, it's on the water. That's only the second time I've seen the foul spell from the swamps. And last time they just like ran in, it was like 2 Draugr and 2 skeletons. They just fucking murdered my boars.
Like, you got poison resistance yet?
The potions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought those before I even started the swamp. You have to, I think.
Alright, yeah. Well, no, you don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier.
I think early on it's good, but then eventually, like, yeah, you can tank the damage pretty easily. It just kind of like makes things a little bit complicated.
Almost on the wall.
Funny thing in this game or Dark Souls would be like, the more weight you have, the more fall damage you take. That'd be crazy.
Dark Souls, I think like 90% of the places you fall just insta kill you regardlessly.
Actually took like less fall damage than I thought I would in that game, honestly. Some of those like early on when I was playing, I guess I was used to this. I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Dark Souls, like the actual Dark Souls 1 to 3, they're like a lot more like straight driven. I don't know about Bloodborne because I haven't played it yet. But like Elden Ring, you know, it's
way more
like
open world.
Free roam.
Yeah.
Because Elden Ring, if you come across the boss and it's like too hard, you can kind of roam around and level up more and get better gear first if you want.
It's basically the same. Even Dark Souls 1's have been surprised. I've been surprised by how open-ended it is in many ways. But really, the Dark Souls franchise is like kind of based around the fact that like failing and leveling up will eventually get you through stuff. You know what I mean? Pretty cool. I also have to say that like there's a lot of times like when I left my computer in storage, etc. I'm at a stone. You have any?
Yep. Here, let me grab it. Not much. It's only 32. Right into the water.
I gotta jump for it, shit. Look at all this. These deer hides in the water. He's like washing up on the shore or something? What the fuck?
Awful. I think the Draugrs killed them.
That was 8 deer hides.
Must have been like a couple.
They must have driven the deer out. This is where the Draugr thing was. There's another fish on the ground. I'm cleaning up. I was gonna say, I had my like computer in storage and I wasn't playing much computer games the past like year and a half or something like that, but I would still watch a fair amount of Twitch streams. And I have to say that like about like a year ago this time, like the response to Elden Ring I think was like the most positive, like impressed response to a game I think I've maybe ever seen or like seen in recent memory. Of everybody being like, this is so fucking sick. Like across the board, there's nothing that's ever like that uncontroversially beloved, I feel.
Well, I don't see how everyone thought God of War Ragnarok was gonna beat Game of the Year.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Over Elden Ring.
The only way that could have won Game of the Year is purely recency bias.
Well, cause like I feel like the Soulsborne games are a lot more popular than the God of War games.
God of Wars are a big mainstream series.
I don't think as big though as the Soulsborne games.
You're right. The Soulsborne games have made a big jump now.
Because there's like there's 1, there's 2, there's 3.
Yeah, a lot of people like them, but it still feels like it was like a gamer's kind of like skill thing. It's like not like the most like diverse group of people like Dark Souls. Even though people who like it really like it. That's all I mean.
It's definitely challenging. But I think there hasn't been a Souls game in so many years that's also why everyone loved it.
Yeah. I was surprised that like they banged out 3 of them that quickly. Like 2011 to 2018 I think was Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. Because they're pretty similar in engine, etc.
Yeah, and they also have Dark Souls 2 like Scholar of the First Sin.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Is it like a director's cut or is it a complete DLC?
It's Dark Souls 2, it's the same game, but they change a lot of the things.
Yeah, I have it on my wish list. I was like, oh, what's this?
I do too.
I was like, $53. That's like basically a new game.
I would just play 2. That's what everyone says.
Why
Just
is
play
that?
2. I think some of the changes don't make sense. I mean, I've never played either of Dark Souls 2.
Most people say it's
So
like the worst one, or the one that people like play to
It's the
complain
hardest.
about. The cheesiest though.
I mean, from what I've heard personally, everyone says it's the hardest one,
Okay, great.
like over 1 and 3.
But like hard in like the shitty way.
Pardon?
But like hard in like the shitty way, like unfair deaths, I think, apparently, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like that's why I said, like Dark Souls 1 has like the weirdest mix of bosses. Because Dark Souls 1, even you said like there's hard bosses, but then there's like bosses you're surprised can even breathe or walk.
I'd say like 3 out of 4 have been like garbage. Like 3 out of every 4. I probably fought 12 or 13 bosses now. I'd say like 3 out of every 4 have been like hot garbage. Like so easy.
Yeah. But Dark Souls 2 is a lot more consistently harder, is what everyone says.
Right.
I know 3.
I think 3 gets better bosses. I think they're probably at that point they're probably like better at doing boss fights. That's what my guess would
3,
be.
yeah, the boss movements I know are a lot better. And they're really hard at the end.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy in the beginning, obviously. I haven't beat 3 though yet. I'm only on the second one.
Second what?
Second boss.
Of the game?
Or I beat the second boss, yeah, on Dark Souls 3.
Isn't that only like a couple of hours into Dark Souls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't played it. I haven't touched it in like 2 months.
Nice. I have a friend who, like, his like claim to fame of being good at video games is that he beat Dark Souls 3. He's like, well, if I did this, then I'm good. I'm like, well, you know what? Now I have to beat Dark Souls 3 to show you. Everyone should do
Would
it.
play it, but I've just been busier playing other games.
Yeah. It's one of those like, what's the word? It's one of those like Crucible games. You should do it. You like being good at video games.
Yeah. I mean, I only recently just discovered that City Skylines is like multiplayer, which I didn't know.
Multiplayer how?
I think I was talking to someone in like the Discord, and they said you have to like rent a server, and then you can just like invite people and shit.
Huh.
I don't know, they didn't explain it very well, but they said there is multiplayer.
It's interesting. I didn't know that. They've been working on that game for a long time.
Surprised. But they came out with the DLC last month,
Yeah, it's still
which
going
is
on.
nice to see.
It's one of those like always on games for sure. Like they can keep working on that for a while. I guess because there's like no real competition in like the pure just like city sim pack. There's a lot of like city builders out there that all have like a niche or like their own little thing. The City Skyline is like the SimCity inheritor.
Well, there's all the DLC packs, and then you just gotta see how like intrusive of a city you can make, and then like how good you can make it and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I bet too that like in the near future, actual architects will be using it to plan out real cities.
Pretty sweet.
I don't see why not. It's like very realistic.
Spent 2 hours and 25 minutes today building a wall. Earthen walls. It's all part of the process. I think by the end of the weekend I should have a pretty good sense of the base. One of those days is gonna have to be stone hauling again for sure. Once I pickaxe all this stuff, I'll get a lot of stone back, etc. This is still a lot.
What made you want to start streaming?
A lot of thought about what I want to do and like what things I think about and what things I care about when I was like off and away from it. There's like always a lot of times that I've played a lot of video games, but I kind of thought more carefully about what things I want and like how many things I want to play, but you need to find some sort of like hook for it or justification if there's so many things on your bucket list that you want to play. And I just want to like see if it'll be something that's satisfying for me.
No, I'm just trying to get into it.
There's a lot of things I want to play, and I know what things I like in life I care about. There's a lot of things like I'm interested in, etc., and a lot of other things I like the idea of. But in terms of the things that I think about and the things that like I want to cover, there's a lot of games I want to play, and there's a lot of things I like to do. And I'm not like much of like a 9-to-5 person. So like if I can, I don't know, if it can turn into anything, that would be like a pretty satisfying way to cover a lot of the things that I want to do for the next little while. But we'll see. I just like, the more time I spend away from things like that, and more times I kind of thought about like, instead of just playing stuff, I should do something where it's a little more of like a structured approach that like actually has like some connection to it. That's mostly what I was thinking about. There's a lot of stuff I want to play, and also like I play better, as I was saying yesterday, I play better with an audience. And a lot of times if I was just like on my own, just like playing whatever, there's a lot of time I would end up just like wasting on like online games and multiplayer games that like don't make memories and don't make like experiences. But, like most of my like fun memories from games are playing like really sick one-player games and like more sort of like in-depth experiences. And like this kind of like helps me be like, okay, well I gotta keep playing more stuff, you know? Otherwise I would like play TFT and League and like a bunch of shit that like I wouldn't make memories from.
What is TFT?
TFT is Teamfight Tactics. It's basically like a mode in League. It's basically like it's an auto battler, like auto chess.
That makes sense.
I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I've never played League.
Yeah. Basically, once Dota had like the auto chess function, League ripped it off like they always do, and it's in the League. It's in the League of Legends client, and it's quite fun for sure. Like a usually 25-minute puzzle game, typically.
No, I feel like I would really like. What is the game called? RuneScape, or like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
If they were still like pretty popular.
Yeah, I have two like the closest friends I made while playing League. Both are guys who like to this day probably play more RuneScape than they do other things. Still like love it.
No, you can also make like real money off of it too.
Really? I didn't know that.
I watched a video about like it was called like the black market of RuneScape.
They really like. There's something about RuneScape that like I've never played it, so I can't really say, but. People who like it a lot. It's because like you're just like straight chilling a lot of the time. It's like watching numbers go up, you know.
Yeah.
People like I think if people played when they were young, they really like it.
Well, it's also just like a really simple game.
And one of those guys will like just message me once in a while, be like, I just want you to know that I'm making really big gains. Like, doing well. I'm like, okay, good thing then. Good to hear. World of Warcraft, I think one of the reasons I stopped playing it was like I was mostly playing on a laptop, and as like the further expansions came out, my laptop was kind of dying, and I kind of like got out of the habit. But also like, kind of like play a lot of something for a couple years, you kind of like feel like you're done with it. But it keeps its hold on you for a while. I thought about it like a lot, even for like 6-8 months after I played it. But eventually it goes away.
Yep.
I find games like that also like come from. Okay, I think I went far enough. I think games like that also come from like kind of a point of depression a little bit as well. Like the times where I got into League and WoW like a lot were like times where like real life shit was like kind of more than I wanted to deal with basically, and just I kind of basically tried to like tune it out. I don't want this shit in race. I don't understand. There's a guy behind you.
coming.
When I was like running, there's like a meadow that was connected to like a there's a meadow that's connected to a swamp, and I was like running like crypt loads back between the two, and watched a Grey Dwarf brute like fighting and killing Draugr. I was like so proud of him. Had a boy, my meadows homie, just like holding his own. He was fucking them up. I think he killed both of them. I was so happy for him.
It's going off in the swamp then.
What?
No, I said dude was going off in the swamp.
Yeah, he wasn't having it. Like I kept drawing people out of the swamps to chase me, and so then they start interacting with like meadows creatures, and he was fucking them up. Okay, do you see where the castle wall is? I can't get the earth wall to go above where it is. You want to try it?
What do you mean?
See where it is? I can't get the earth wall to go up a little bit, so I can't make the next castle wall. It's like even when I press raise ground, it's not doing anything.
Where? Where are you trying to raise?
Over there behind, like where the seawall is. That part I can't get
like
up.
that little gap.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm not sure. I think you'd have to just build a wall under there then.
I think you're right. It's like I used a bunch of stone on it, it wouldn't even move at all. And like raise the level ground doesn't work either.
Oh, you're gonna have to kind of break it.
Being real weird.
Ah, shit.
Hey, I guess that's mostly the end of the stone. Well, you get what you get. I think it's cool. Like one of the ways that like I started thinking about how like I really like the item system in this game is how like everything that you get and everything that drops is like what helps build you forward. And one of the first things that I was thinking about that's related to that was like what am I talking about? Like they had the greylings. The greylings are everywhere in the meadows, but they give you the stuff that you need in the meadows, which is stone and wood. And then like obviously the Grey Dwarf as well. And just the way that they structured progression systems in this game, I think is just like so impressive.
They definitely did a really good job on this game, even for like the amount of people they had working on it.
Yeah, apparently it was like 5-6 dudes.
Yeah, in the beginning they had like less than 10 people.
Yeah, and that's why they like, that's what they, even when they say like in their like patch notes, is like, we had like a long-term plan for the game, but so many people played it that we had to like immediately shift to mostly like bug fixes and optimizations just because of the huge load. Then it wasn't until later that we could like build up enough a group to start like doing new content.
Do you remember the game Splitgate?
Splitgate?
Yeah.
I've heard of it, I never played it. I don't really know anything about it.
That game died like a month after it came out because game came out, people were playing it like crazy, and it was a small team too. They like upped their team, upped their servers and everything, and then it just crashed.
Yeah. I think that happens pretty often. There's a lot of games with hype that are dead in like 5 days. It's also because like gamers are gamers, you know what I mean? Like most people are kind of like looking for like the next thing.
Yeah, that's true.
People are always like kind of like looking for the next thing. And some people are like looking for, we'll find one in different places, but it's like a pretty like, what's the word? Like a impulsive community. Water. Thanks, pal.
Yep.
Still out of stamina. I'll just sit here and float for a second. Think about my life. Cold and wet.
Stuck?
Just give me a second. I gotta have like enough to jump 3 times. Okay, so we gotta raise the wall a little bit, raise the floor a little bit.
I'll just use my light.
So I guess we take this wall out. The hazards of doing this at night. What kind of stuff have you been watching on Twitch lately? Like usually when you go on Twitch, what games are you looking at? Just whatever game you're into currently?
Well, usually I just watch whoever I follow.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, oh, you're dying, aren't you? I mean, right now, I guess City Skylines.
Yeah.
Just so I can ask like people then and there for like ideas and tips.
Yeah, yeah. That's I think it's a cool way to deal with Twitch. A lot of people use Twitch for like hype people or like the newest game, etc. But like to go to it to find stuff about the game you're playing currently, it's like in many ways like the best part, like one of the best things about the system, about the site. So there's so much of Twitch now that's like basically just like there's whatever like the free online entertainment is always a thing that's gonna like attract a lot of people who are younger because they don't have money, and so like that's why Fortnite got big. That's why like League to some degree before that got big, etc. Like Twitch is also essentially free. Like a lot of people you can see of like the hugest streamers are the people who like cater to people who are like probably 13 to 15. It's a whole different kind of attitude and a whole different style.
I mean, I think Twitch is like their rules and code of conduct and their team that controls that is very unfair.
Unfair how? I mean, you're probably right, but what do you mean?
I mean, is your stream 18 plus? I guess. I mean, it says.
I don't mark it as anything.
Well, okay, so there's a girl on there, and she got caught having sex on a stream.
Yeah.
And you could like see everything, and she got only a 3-day ban.
Yeah, I heard, but they're pretty like light on bans like that.
Yeah, well, it's especially towards females.
Yeah.
And, I don't even remember. There's a guy who like, as a joke, said like to another streamer that he knows, like, oh, everyone go raid them. Yeah. And like just talk shit as a joke, and they got permanently banned.
Yeah, I hear about a lot of stuff like that, or read a lot about a lot of stuff like that, or like the unfair ban terms between like different things. And I think, yeah, I don't think they have like very consistent rules for those things. And I think a part of it is they think about who they already have in the platform, because it's already like a pretty young male dominant group, and then who they want to attract onto the platform, and then kind of like change the punishments accordingly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of also evolves with the state of like the world right now, I guess, to some extent.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fun. Water.
I'm not trying to go into it.
No, I know what you mean. I think that they favor groups that they want to encourage to be on the platform, and then some groups they take for granted, because like guys that look like maybe you or I necessarily feel like they need to appeal to, because we're going to be here anyway. And truthfully told, like most of the people who get the biggest success on the platform are that same demographic.
Well, there's this girl Amaranth, and she like,
I know she is.
I see her on my recommended every day, and she has like 100K viewers, and she's always doing like.
I find she usually has like about 10K viewers, but I find people like her have a very, very high chance in the algorithms.
It might have been 10K. I might have just seen it wrong.
She's like, it's kind of like Jordan Peterson or Joe Rogan clips on YouTube. Like you click on one thing one time, and like your recommends are fucked forever.
I know. I mean, yeah, and she makes more money than my fucking whole family that's alive right now probably does, and all she does is just fucking.
Yeah. She's
live
like
streaming bikinis.
Way above the rest of them in like quality in terms of like how much she makes. For a while she had the most OnlyFans subs in the world. So she's doing something right, you know?
$40,000.
Sorry?
Like on Twitch. Someone gave her 40 grand on Twitch.
Yeah, she has like she makes like millions yearly. Like she makes like 8 figures yearly. Is generally the consideration for her. She makes a lot, and she's like actual businesswoman, like Google investments and stuff like that. She's like a cut above the rest of them. There's a lot of people who are like 400, 500 viewer people on Twitch doing the same thing she does, but she's like actually a beast.
Well, how I see it is like, like me personally, I don't know much about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, if she does OnlyFans, but she's also smart with her money and she like does other things.
Yeah.
And has other assets, then.
She's playing the game.
I mean, yeah, she's just playing the game. I can't say anything bad about her.
Yeah,
but
she's like really a cut above the rest, I think, in terms of how much she makes and like how successful she's been.
I get lots of like YouTube shorts and like Facebook shorts about like OnlyFans girls that are like stupid as a box of rocks, to be honest.
Yeah. Or they're benefiting from pretending.
Yeah.
Oops, how do I put my... I don't know, that's like a... It's like a meme I've seen a couple times, is people being like, what? What happens if I put my... You want me to put my elbows behind my back? What happens? Like, it benefits them a little bit for sure.
Yeah,
but it's from what you were saying, it is like... It's quite true that like... what does it say? What was it saying? Twitch does for sure incentivize those things in the algorithm. Like there's always gonna be like some weirdo, like a hot tub streamer. Those aren't so much. There's gonna be like some weirdo like ASMR person like I recommend once in a while. I don't remember ever clicking on stuff like that.
No, neither have I.
Sure,
I have no one weird on my recommended right now. My 3 top people is Blueprint, who's like a Rust streamer. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I think so.
Kai Cenat.
Yeah, he's huge right now.
And yeah, no, he's popping, and he's still not. I don't think he's verified yet. I'm like.
What's that mean?
Because Twitch, they have like different levels.
Yeah.
Because like right now, like me and you, we haven't even hit affiliate yet, so like we don't make any money.
They don't give you the option
like
yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I know he fucking manages like almost 100K every stream. And he's like, he should be at the top with like most of the other like really popular streamers, but Twitch hasn't acknowledged him yet.
It's interesting. It's been not that long that he's been really big. I'd say less than a year for sure.
No, it's I definitely think the 5M like GTA roleplay stuff definitely helped him.
I didn't know he did that.
I don't know what he does mainly because I don't watch him personally, but I know he did do or does GTA roleplays on stream. And like so does even like XQC and like lots of people. It was a big thing during quarantine.
It was a big thing during quarantine as well. I actually watched some of those XQC streams. They're pretty fun. But ultimately it's like a cool idea for a little bit. But yeah, that was like the 2021 or 2022 meta for sure.
I can't keep up with what that dude says. Honestly, I can't understand.
Yeah, it's funny. I've always found that like mind blowing. That like the bigger streamer on Twitch is someone that like most people would like. Quebec is such like a niche market. You know what I mean? His like rise to success has always been really funny to me.
He's Canadian?
He's from Quebec, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know he was from Quebec. I thought he just spoke funny.
No, he's got a French accent. He's from like Laval or something. He's like very much has a Quebec accent. And I've noticed from other video games, like mostly online ones, that the kind of XQC type naming nomenclature, like that naming convention, is very, very common with Quebec players. They'll almost always have a QC in their name to like symbolize to other people where they're from, so they'll find other ones. Yeah, I always thought it was really funny that he was the biggest streamer on Twitch when he's like, that's like not a normal place to be from, and he like if English is a second language. I always thought that was just so funny.
Well, he 100% doesn't live in Canada anymore, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he lives in Texas or LA or something.
If I could, I'd live in Texas. Their housing prices compared to like Canada are so cheap.
Yeah, Texas is a cool place for sure. Also, no income tax. It's the reason a lot of streamers move there. Because streamers like lose a lot of the money from income tax, I think, because you're self-employed.
How's Vancouver with housing prices?
Like the highest in Canada.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought it was Toronto.
Vancouver has a lot of foreign investment, and it's a pretty small city and a pretty rich one. But yeah, it's the one that has the highest prices in Canada for sure. It is less construction than Toronto. Toronto has high condo prices, etc., and like buying a house in Toronto is expensive, but Vancouver overall is like a higher cost of living.
You guys probably do have like really good fresh fish though.
Yeah, I eat really well here. It's like my cost of living is up though for sure, but like getting like wild caught, like line caught salmon and shit like that, like non-farm fish, all that kind of stuff is great. The quality of eating and the quality of like farm stuff and like things like that nearby. Plus like Alberta and like parts of the northwest of the U.S. around here for like agriculture as well. Really good. It's a good eating, good quality of life place for sure. And it's like near hiking and near a lot of stuff. It's great.
You already know Halifax is just lobster. It's the only thing.
Yeah, PEI has good shellfish. There's other good shellfish besides lobster. Oysters, mussels, all that shit's really good.
Lobster.
Sorry?
I don't see what the hype is about lobster. I don't like it.
It's hard to have something that like you eat all the time, I think. But lobster with like garlic butter, breaking it apart is pretty good. Lobster's like in pastas, like a ravioli or something. And it definitely has its moments.
I can't stand it.
Are you like, this guy's hitting my fucking wall? Hey! Get off the wall. Do you have any stone on you? Do you want to finish that castle wall?
Yep. Working on it right now.
Rabble.
This is gonna be close.
Okay, I guess I can start cutting up these walls.
There's like a little gap, but it's done pretty much.
Nice. It's a good day's work, I gotta say. Thank you very much for helping. Glad you came in and we talked about the things you did.
No problem. Only like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours since I think you joined. About that.
Nothing better. I didn't have anything better to do.
And this is exactly what I wanted to do. I'm on my big plan right now. And I'm gonna get most of it. I'm gonna get a good chunk of it done, and then finish the swamp, and then really focus progression once I have my whole like base flow going on. It's still like gonna be a long time that I play this game, like all through February. Almost assuredly all through February, like, for like the evening stream.
I like how you do have it, so like you play Dark Souls first, and then you get to Valheim later in the night.
Valheim's more cozy at night. For sure.
Well, yeah, it's more of a chill game that like everyone can kind of just relax and watch.
Yeah, and if you're gonna like, yeah, you want to put the energy into Dark Souls during the day for sure.
Yeah.
I think two games in two different kind of balances is, I think generally the way I'll keep doing it, more than just like no lifing one.
With Dark Souls you can beat in like less than a week.
Yeah, I forget how many days I've done it now. Probably 6 or 7 streams. So I'll probably put 20 hours into it, maybe more. I'm probably like halfway done. But like I'm like directionless and like wandering a lot.
Well, today you put in
Like
about 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Today's my day off from the gym, so I can do like basically like a 12 to 3 and then like a 4 to 7 or 3 to 6 or something. Where normally I'll just do like one afternoon. So like the next 2 days I have gym. I usually get home and like I'm ready to eat by like 1 or 2. But days like today I can do like the triple shift.
Yep.
It's a good balance.
Alright. Well, I'm definitely logging out because it is
2:30?
2:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna hack away some walls here for a while. And I can't believe I used all that stone. Holy shit.
It's all gone?
I mean, I don't see any more piles. I like counted it and I thought I had about 3,000, but it's all gone, apparently.
I made sure I had none in my inventory.
Yeah, I have like 16, so most of it's gone to the wall, unfortunately.
Man, that shows you're putting in work.
Yeah, it's true. Feels good. I didn't think it would. I thought I would get. I don't know. Okay, so how do the walls look? It's a little gap. What do I do about that?
Try putting the smaller stone pieces, but if not,
Poke in there.
fill it in with dirt.
Yeah. All right, man. You have a good night.
Yeah, man, you too. Peace.
Sleep well. Okay, Discord closed. All right, I'm pretty happy with this progress. Let me see what I can do with this wall here. Get this last little bit in here. Okay, first things first. Raise the ground under this. So good. There. Is that supporting that? Or its toughness angle? It is, yeah. 5 here, and then stone pillar. Is that what I want to do? That looks good. In the way of this one? Okay, it looks kind of fucked up. Maybe I just do the one stone walls, yeah. Did all that stone fall in the water or something? Alright. Good progress. Ooh, raspberries over there. I think I see them. Crazy. My raspberry fevered brain. I'm at this like really chintzy stage where I don't want to cut too many more rocks. I just want to like kind of preserve some of the stuff I have around here. It's not a good stage to. It's not a good stage to be in. It's a time wasting stage. Oh, please get up there. Good on me. Really, I can't eat a turnip. Another thing I should make and put in the fermenter that I was noticing from a lot of those tips and tricks videos were stamina potions or stamina mead, whatever. It's like really useful, like for drowning, etc. Do it till you can't swim anymore? Till you start swimming, rather? It's fine. Is that piece still supported? A little bit. Looks fucked up. 7. Raise ground. Seen a little bit here. End in this part, yeah. Ground's going down, good. Okay, that one's probably not supported. Do one more. If it falls, it falls. How much stone do I have now? 4? Not very much. I need to get a little more. all this should now be submarine possible. Hopefully it doesn't turn into like a mass fucking cavalcade of avalanches. Okay, I gotta get in here from inside the base. There's so much tinkering this is gonna require. And I gotta make sure the walls are proper inside. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Money for nothing and the chicks for free. Okay, so then you do it from here and you carve it from the outside. What time is it? 10:35? I can do this till 11. So fun. I like these boulders here. This neck doesn't seem to care about my work. Okay, there we go. Oh, this is fine. How much wood stone did I get there? Very little. This weird place where I don't like these stones that are kind of around the base. I kind of want to leave around the base. More natural. I'm gonna go far away now to get more stuff. Clank. How much are these pieces? Those pieces are 3. That's 4. That's 6. So it's actually really good. It's really good efficiency to use the bigger pieces. Interesting. Okay. Okay, well that's a pretty good progress. It's all pretty rough, obviously. But in terms of being better able to like imagine stuff, I now have like a lot of the big leg work done. I don't get me wrong, I still need like literally thousands more stone. But I can thin this out probably, try to make it as little under the stone as possible. What is this guy doing? Hey. Hey, get away from there. How did you get here, buddy? I guess I could have let the guy live. That's the other thing is like crafting station stuff is hard. Any fish in here? Well, you guys just live in here now. Tough luck. Yeah, that's the piece. Let's tackle one of these boulders and stop dicking around. Everywhere, you'll never notice when they're gone. We get swarmed by graylings. Low ass stamina. No honey on me? Ideal. see? There it is. Everything else says rock now? Alright. Let's get out of here. Don't neck should slumber at night. I would like that. I'd like more creatures that slumber at night and leave me alone. How? Oh, what a jump. It's like attacking my stone walls, so rude. Oh, I died inside the base. You're gonna fall from stairs. Is that my first or second falling death today? I think I had one other weird one. Or that was yesterday, I think. I sleep? Pick that shit up in the morning. Hopefully those guys still aren't there. They go on their merry way. I'm gonna do a little more cleaning up tonight. What's this? Uke berries. Oh, I should eat first, right? Okay, yeah. Sobering idea that I got another... I got another day of... another full stone day coming my way. This dude's gone? Did that guy die in the night? They just like expire in the morning? Sometimes you see grayling skulls. You're just like, why are you here? Right? So where was I going? I had stone. It's hopping over here. It's kind of a funny place for these benches to be, despite being not particularly convenient. I'm doing the double walls. No, not that double. It's double wall. Alright. Pretty good. And these will be the basic structures. And then I'll amend this. Eventually. I'll amend this to guard towers on the corners and battlements along this whole wall. So there'll be some things. And then of course eventually a lot of this will... Once I make the central walls... Okay, this whole thing's got to go down. Though there will be, I guess, a secondary wall here. Okay, this is all just like kind of structuring stuff. So these walls are full height. And I'll need a ton of extra stone to make this wall taller. It doesn't have to be, this wall doesn't have necessarily be as tall. But like, let's say this stuff. This doesn't necessarily need to be here anymore. So once I figure out the angles in here, I'll go to say here, cut this across, cut all the way across, and then cut back down this way. And that'll be like my inner keep. And then out here will be farm. And then across the outer walls, this will probably be oak trees or something like that. And then the inner keep will be the docks. And this is where you pull in. And then like another flat area across here, roughly analogous to where it is now. I'll just have to further define this into a more sheer three-step process. The poor pigs are hungry. Sorry, fellas. I'll help you out. Do the pigs eat turnips? Do you guys eat those? do. Nice. My guy won't, but they will. Tell you what, fella, I'll tell you what, fellas, I got a lot of them coming. There you go, yeah. Grab those. I guess I do a standard. How many is that? 65? I guess I'd keep growing the herd. Do the seed turnips again. Oh. 10 hours of streaming today. It's a good cadence to have like 3 Monday. Let's say it's okay. My schedule is like 1, 2 off, 4 off in terms of gym days. So I'd have kind of like a legit rest day where I'm here. How many did that take? That took 60 of the turnips. All right, and that should turn to a lot more turnips. Do the rest of these guys. Fellas, enjoy. I got a couple more dinky things to put. I should get more food. But I got a couple more dinky things to put in here. But to give me a cadence of which days I work hard at it and which days are like a little more slack is like, I don't know, pretty good job. Got a trophy here. I got some wood, I got some stone, I got some buke berries. I don't know why they didn't want to say puke, it's interesting. Stuff is healed. I think I will. I think maybe I'll take this time to take this wall down, lower it substantially. Let's just move forward, tip down. Yeah, I put so much stone into these earth walls. I should have just put like, oh, I know the reason why is that like you're at the top and you want to keep doing it. It's like such an absurd amount of extra stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, this needs to be some sort of a cliff. But it'll just be like, it just needs to be another set of walls at the same parallel as the ones I have. I mean, unless I change my mind, I don't want it to be the way that it is. It's still gradually going upwards. Keep going this way. So this is lowering it, and you know, I'm not getting no stone. Keep thinking there's like things in the water. Like I thought the tree trunk was like a Loch Ness monster. I thought it was Nessie coming back from the ground. Fucking Nessie. classic. Classic. Hey. Hey, classic. This looks like a ship fin. Cool. Oh, hey. Nessie. That's a classic. Ooh, hey. That's the same voice I did for Hannet in Octopath Traveler. I do not know if it's Scottish or Irish. I suspect it's more Irish. I do not know how to do a Scottish accent. Either way, you're offending one or the other. I don't know, this sounds more Scottish. Like Robert Carlyle, whatever the guy is from fucking Danny Boyle movies. That's his name, right? Robert Carlyle. Guy's been the real weirdo and transpotted. I'm mangling the accents. All the UK accents like kind of blend in my head a little bit. I know it's complicated. Like there's whole like fucking class systems based around like Fiona, whatever her name is, couldn't like get a job in England, so moved to America because like her Yorkshire accent or like her Steel Town accent like forever fucking took her out. Two people in esports I like are Richard Lewis and Thorin, and like Richard Lewis especially has like that heavy fucking Yorkshire accent or like northern accent to some degree. And like those are things that are like literally disqualifying in like a classes system. Pretty funny. It's not that way in America because like kind of brash wealth comes from all places. And brash wealth is like the only determining factor really for success. Like yeah, there's like those old money fucking Kennedy style Dutch type families. And that's like a level of like class and like old money that like most people can't really compete with. But like I wouldn't say that's necessarily like a defining feature of America. I just think it's like a particular sequestered niche that's like extremely successful and like a good thing to be part of for sure. Okay, I'm starting to feel more tired now. Should be able to wrap it up by 11. And then this wall will be like ultimately it's like pretty useless, I think. I don't think I have any stone cutter nearby. Did I leave one over here or did I break it up? Jeez. I think we left it. We brought it. I think we brought it along for the raid. I don't need the stone cutter now. I just need like stone. Yeah, it's the next job for tomorrow is cleaning up this shit, planning the inner sanctum, filling up the rock, filling up this wall to see how much we want to do, carving out the middle for the dock, and yeah, so carve out the part for the dock, and then make the surrounding wall for the inner sanctum. That's gonna take a lot of like earth smoothing and terraforming. And then wonder whether to what degree some of the terraforming should happen first. Like this is gonna be, because of all this nice like water area, this is like a really nice place where I can put the pigs. Or whatever other animals. That'll kind of like roam this area. And then if I have a full, eventually we'll have a full set of castle keep walls, and apparently you can just let the wolves wander around. Like they'll help defend things. They're like prowling at like the fucking dire wolves, the Stark dire wolves. So sick. But that'll take, yeah, I got a while to go before that. So I have to do some terraforming. I have to start evening stuff out into like the real flat levels, and I have to start delineating the inner keep castle walls, which will probably be roughly the way things are now. But the angles have to be better because they have to fit these stone walls. Pretty cool to have this line stretching all the way across. Start. It's harder for things to get in currently. They can still get in at the far end. Stop in 5 minutes. also realized that like I have a fucking 1 terabyte hard drive and a half terabyte SSD drive. The half terabyte SSD drive I put in like less than a week ago, and it's already at like less than half. It's already less than half capacity, and the other one has like 150 gigs of space on it. So like I have to start putting up the YouTube cadence. One, start using Twitch VODs and downloading them because they're just like the cheap little small MP4s. But really what I have to do is like start basically doubling the cadence of putting stuff on YouTube just to get it off my fucking computer. Because especially with how much stuff I'm putting on it recently, oof, I'm not staying ahead of it. It just means like I have to keep my computer on at night overnight a lot. Something about that bothers me. Oh, I know it's like okay, but I just don't like doing it. It obviously seems better to have more rest and not be on. It's less weird to that. But a lot of people who know a lot more about computers than I do just like keep the computer running at all times. Maybe because they think there's no problem, or maybe they think it's actually like worse to turn it off regularly. I just don't really know. Like some part of the booting is deleterious or something. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, people who like help me build computers, etc., will keep theirs on like, all the time. Both cases I can think of. This is time to make an iron pickaxe sometime too, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna raise that wall up because let's go check this out from the hill. I gotta quit this in a few minutes, so I gotta get some vantage points here. I can use these as a vantage point now because I'm doing this from the inside. I think that's where I fell and died yesterday. Okay. What happened here? Shit. So I suppose from one of these points, I'll now do a straight line here, and a straight line here, in line with the castle wall. They have to keep they'll have to keep the same angle of those. Go in, and then all the way across here for like, I don't know, in and across here, probably from one of these points. And then across the same way over there, and then have the two big side areas. Rock the castle. I'll have to rock the back castle walls basically all the way across, and then I'll probably merge the back castle wall into the back of the keep. So that takes like a certain amount of like estimate and what's the word? Prognostication that I'm not like currently ready to do right now, or will be like something that I'm kind of like committing to before I'm like happy to commit to it, which is, you know, the way things go. That's the other thing too, actually, is thinking about, I guess there's basically some angle where this comes across here, parallel to the way that did. But it's too far. It's like, it's not far enough, I mean. But maybe it'll be fine, because I might be deluding myself to how much the tower will go. But ultimately, this back wall, despite being like an important security measure, we'll have temporary security walls here, because I will not, it'll take me a while to realize essentially where this back point will be, but it's going to be around here for sure. And I can't wait to have oak trees and a grove, or maybe just like interspersed throughout. I used to have a chest here. Do I still have a chest with arrows here? All these iron head, flint head arrows. Fine. Okay. My mouth kind of hurts. My tongue's kind of tired. It's time to wrap it up for the night. Grab that honey. Okay, I'll do one more round of Hacky Choppy. Get this down to a serviceable height. Gotta aim lower, that's the key here. It's not making a whole lot of progress doing it this way, is it? It's a little better. It's also a little weird too. It looks so fucking weird. Hey, coming along. Mass Terranigma continues. A little. That's if you back up here. That's what I thought was like the Surtling cores before. It's like that little bit of like sunset on the wet rocks. It's a sick fucking detail, man. Kind of want to chop it from the top down so that there's so much like terraforming stuff still has to get done. But yeah, you have to figure out the skeleton before you figure out the flesh, you know? Hoping to recoup some stone. I can probably get like 4 or 5 stacks back by continuing to cut this shit down. Then these parts will be evened out. These can be... Oh. This stay open. But like, how will this be like water? Oh. Oh. Is this gonna be like water along here? Like a little open area? I think it will. It's ultimately the way that makes the most sense, I think. A lot to do. Feels good. It actually feels good. I need some backup food. And how much for the tasty mead? Sorry, the minor stamina. Honey, raspberries, yellow mushrooms. Wow, a lot of them too. Me, 80 stamina, holy cow. Okay, put that shit back. Oh, good use for stuff. Love it. Alright, that's enough Valheim for today. What a good session. Good in multiple ways. Sleep in fits and fretful dreams, the weight of the nightmare heavy on your chest. When morning comes, you greet it with relief. When morning comes, you greet it with relief. Alright, great job. The world saves are back on a normal time. It's in the dawn again. It's all going great. Alright, well, thank you and good night.